Alright, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Alright, we're live, we're live. And guys, as you guys can tell before I start off with the introduction, firstly, I got a green screen at last. And now I can, it just arrived to decide how much time to, add the OBS filters and everything. That said, I am wearing a green shirt, so I feel like a chameleon. Although, yeah, as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on more vectors. And
Okay,
wait, let me
perfect.
just
Let me
mute
go to my
myself.
main camera.
Guys, is it just me or my camera is a little laggy? There we go, that's much better. Okay, so as you guys can tell by title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on, let's see, vectors and position. Let me go to my gameplay screen. Oh, perfect. Okay, I did say Sensei that I'm going to be doing this. Let me just say Sensei, I'm live. And guys, I feel like the green screen looks a little weird now because like I didn't add any filters or anything to it, and I'm wearing a green shirt with messy hair. I did not have time, guys, today. I did not have time today, guys. Okay, Vivek, listen up, Chad. Wake the hell up. You didn't come here to watch a quiet tutorial. You came here to watch a battlefield. We're here to break bad habits, fix broken code, and turn glitches into glory. If you're hungry to in progress, okay, if you're hungry for in progress, what does that even mean? You're in the right place. If you're here to sniff the cushions, get out. Okay, we have to work. I don't know why, since they kind of rude, guys. Today, Vector2 Smooth Movement Zero Mess will take your hero from stuttery snail to gliding legend. I'll walk chat through why Vector2 is the only sane, guys, I cannot read, way to position, velocity and direction. Then we'll riot with a little broken challenge. Okay, let me get Sensei here real quick, honestly. Okay, this was the code that we worked on last stream. I didn't have much time to work on this code off stream because I did have my exam. That said, let me get Sensei back here. Okay, paste it, add a bunch of space, let's say this was the code. Okay, this was the code that we were working on last stream, I didn't have time to work on it though. Can we review it, question mark? Okay, let's see. Yes, soldier, we're reviewing this code. Chat, sit up straight and pay attention because this is where vectors start to flex their muscles. Here's what your code is doing step by step. Set up and display. You've got your 1000 by 650 screen FPS locked. The images, we loaded our images. We created a game objects class, shield class, coin class, okay. Alright, this is where Vector2 shines. You store the coin's position as a Vector2. Update calculates the direction towards the shield. That's vector subtraction in action. Point from coin shield. Okay, you normalize the vector, shrink it to length 1 multiplied by speed, and add the position. Then you sync the rect center with the updated position. That's textbook vector-based movement. No need for if statements like if shield.x-axis is greater than coin.x-axis, then coin.x-axis increases by our speed. The math handles it. Game loops, okay, shield responses to WASD. I think these are keyboard buttons / arrow keys. Coins chases the shield, both gets drawn. So your last stream code is already solid. It runs the code. Okay, it runs the coin until the shield. Okay, I see. What our critique level up? The shield should also use Vector2 for positions, not just rect math. Then both objects are consistent and collision detection when the coin touches the shield may respawn the coin somewhere else or count score. Make velocity adjustable, for example, pressing shift could double shield speed, okay? For style, organize into a proper update for shield 2, so both classes have update plus draw. I see, symmetry makes scaling easier. Let me say, can you give me a instructional based question on that code, question mark? Okay, I'll probably start out by doing some instructional based questions. Okay, listen up. Here's your mission. Add collision detection between shields and the coin. Alright, I honestly don't want to add collision detection just yet, although I do know how to add collision detection. I want to write this code again so I understand how it works. Okay, that said, let me go with the controller, delete this whole thing. Let me start off by importing Pygame. Okay, and I'll honestly import sys as well. And then from Pygame, from pygame.math, I'll import the Vector2. Okay, let's see if I remember. This is going to be capitalized vector. Alright, next up, let me initialize Pygame by typing pygame.init. That initializes Pygame. Let me go ahead and add my display. For my display, I'm going to be creating a uppercase width variable and a uppercase height variable. I'll set my width variable to be 1000 and height variable to be 650. And then I'll go ahead and create a screen variable. I'll set that equal to pygame.display.set_mode function. My mode is going to be inside of a tuple of my display's width, which is my width variable, and my display's height, which is my height variable. Okay, next up, let me add a caption. I'll go with pygame.display.set_caption. My caption is going to be something like Vector2, I don't know, 1.1. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add game variables. For example, my FPS controller. So I'll go with game variables. For my game variable, I'll create a clock variable that holds my FPS controller. So I'll go with pygame.time.capitalize clock. Maybe add a comment that says this is my FPS controller. And then I might need a FPS variable. I can set that equal to something like 60 frames per second. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and load images. To load images, let's see what all images would I need. I honestly might need a player image, so player_image can be equal to, I'll give my file path. I'll go with pygame.image.load. I'll give my file path. So it's going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes, followed by, let's say, my player section, 2 more forward slashes. This is going to be my hero PNG. And since this is a PNG, I will be converting this to alpha. So convert_alpha. Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead and load one for my projectile. So I could go with something like projectile. That's a pretty big name. I might go with something like, let's see, sort_image. I'll set that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll get the file path of my sort image. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes, followed by weapons, 2 more forward slashes. This is going to be my sort PNG. And well, since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. So .convert alpha. Alright, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and transform and scale my images. So I'll add a comment that says transform and scale. Okay, to transform, and this is going to be FORM. Okay, so to transform and scale, I'm going to be defining a function. I'll go ahead and define a scale function. Maybe add a bunch of spaces down and I'll go up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and define a scale function. My scale function will be having 2 parameters. The first is going to be an image parameter. The second is going to be a factor parameter. Factor is basically the size. I'll keep the size to be 0.1. And then let me go ahead and return something. I'll return pygame.transform.scale. Okay, I want to scale my image and my size is going to be in a tuple. I'll go in a new line, type integer, and now inside of my integer, I'm going to be getting the width of my image and multiplying with my factor. So I'll go with my image dot the get_width function. I'll get the width of my image and I'll multiply it by my factor. And then I'll add a comma and do the same thing for my height. I'll go with integer my image dot get_height. I get the height of my image and I multiply it by my factor as well. Alright, next up, let me reassign my variables. So I'll go with player_image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my player_image. And then I'll go with my sort_image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my sort_image. And my size is going to be relatively smaller than my player_image, my factor. So I'll go with 0.05. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and honestly, I might actually add Vector2 positions now. So I'll add a comment that says Vector2 position. First position is going to be for my hero or my player_image. So I'll go with player_image. Actually, I'll go with player_position. This is my player's position. I'll set that equal to my Vector2, add a pair of parentheses. I'll leave my x-axis and y-axis. My x-axis could be 100 and y-axis could be 300. Okay, and then I'll go one for my sort as well. So I'll go with sort_position. I'll set that equal to Vector2. My x-axis is going to be, let's say, 500 and y-axis is going to be 300. Okay, next up, I won't be creating regs because I will be adding my regs inside of my classes. So let me go ahead and create a class. This class is going to be, let's say, a game objects class. The reason I'm creating a game objects class, a parent class, is because all my classes will be having a image parameter and a rect parameter. So game object. There we go. I'm going to be defining a dungeon init constructor inside of my game object, and I'll be giving it a few parameters. Let's see. Honestly, what other parameters could I need for game objects? I would need an image parameter, and then maybe I'd need a position parameter. Will someone be moving? Since someone is going to be moving, I might add velocities, although I could use speed for that. Okay, now for my image, I'll set my image to be equal to my image parameter. Okay, and instead of adding a position, instead of like reassign my position to be equal to my position parameter, I'll go with a self.rect. These are instance variables, so I will prefix my image with a self. So self.rect equals to my self.image.the_get_rect function. And now my position is going to be a keyword argument. So I'll go with something like center, which is going to be equal to my position parameter here. Alright, perfect. Will I need any methods? Will my object class need any methods? I think I might need a move method. Let me go ahead and define a move method. My move method will be having a parameter of keys to it, and then I'll go with a few if statements. So if my keys at index of pygame dot uppercase k is uppercase right, I'm going to be increasing my player's position. So let me go with my player underscore position k dot x-axis. I'll increase it by, let's say, 5 pixels per frame. Okay, and then if my keys at index of pygame dot k is left, if my left key is pressed, I will be decreasing my player underscore position dot x-axis by 5 pixels per frame. And if my keys at index of pygame dot k is up, if my top key is pressed, I'm going to be decreasing my player underscore position dot y-axis by 5 pixels per frame. And lastly, if my keys at index of pygame dot k is down. If my bottom key is pressed, I'm going to be increasing my player underscore position dot y-axis by 5 pixels per frame. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much it for the move method, although I might have to reassign my player's position, but I'll do that inside my player's class. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and define a draw method. Since all my objects are going to be having draw methods, or all my classes will be needing a draw method, I will have a parameter of surface here, which is going to be set to screen by default. And then I'll go with my surface.blitz. I want to blitz my self.image, my object's image, and self.rect, my object's rect/position. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create a class for my player. This is going to be my player class, and my player class will be inheriting from my game objects class. Next up, let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor. Inside the dungeon init constructor, my player would need an image parameter. I could set that equal to my player image, this variable, and then a position parameter. I can set that equal to my player underscore position. Okay, and then since I am using inheritance, I will be needing the super dungeon init. So let me go ahead and add a super parentheses dot dungeon init. Inside my super dungeon init, I am going to be adding all the parameters from the class that I'm inheriting from. Since I'm inheriting from my game objects class, I add all the parameters here that is inside of my game objects class. So I need an image and a position. My game objects class's image parameter is going to be equal to my player class's image parameter, and my game objects class's position parameter is going to be equal to my player class's position parameter. Okay, let's see, would my player need anything else? My player honestly might need speed, so let me go ahead and create an instance variable for speed. I'll go with self.speed. I'll set that equal to like 5 pixels per frame. I could add a specific parameter here as well, but I could just create an instance variable. It's the same thing. Okay, and then I could go with something like self.image. I'll set that equal to my image parameter, which is set to my player image. Okay, and honestly, I actually might not need this because my game object already has a self.image. That said, would I need any other methods for my hero? I might need apply gravity and all those methods, but I'm not implementing gravity right now. This is just for me learning on how vectors work. Okay, so let me go ahead and create another class. This is going to be for my, let's see, for my sword. My sword class will be inheriting from my game objects class as well. And then let me go ahead and define a dungeon init constructor and add a few parameters to it. What other parameters would my sword need? My sword might need a position parameter. I could set that equal to my sword position, and then my sword might need a, let's see, a speed parameter. So I can go with speed. I can set that equal to something like, I'll go with 3 pixels per frame. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a super parentheses dot dungeon init since I am using inheritance, and now I'm going to be adding all the parameters of my game objects class inside of my super dungeon init. So I'll go with image equals to image and position equals to position. Okay. Okay, I would need an image as well, so I'll go with the image parameter. There we go. I'll set that equal to my sort image variable. Okay, and then honestly, let me create an instance variable for my speed. So I'll go with self.speed. I'll set that equal to, let's say, my speed parameter here. Alright, I'm pretty sure I do need to, create positions as well. I do have a position here. That said, my position is going to be something like, okay, actually, I think I gotta define a target method first. Inside my target method, I'll be having a... Did I need a targets parameter as well? So I could go with like target. And guys, I am pretty new with this vector stuff, so yeah. Okay, my explanation is gonna get real vague real soon. Okay, so I define a target class. Okay, and then I'll need to create a direction variable to find the direction. My direction is gonna be equal to, let's see, I'll go with my Vector2 with the parameter of my target. Honestly, I could say this update. Howdy Otakuverse, I appreciate you joining this stream. I could change this to an update method. The name could honestly be anything. Minus my self.position, and then let me create a self.position instance variable. Also that equal to my position parameter. Okay, I will need a, honestly I might not need a rect because my game objects class already has a rect. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and look for zero division errors. So I'll go with if my direction is greater than 0. Okay, maybe I'll add a comment that says this thing avoids, so avoids heal bro, reply me. I did say I appreciate you like the stream. I guess like sometimes not that clear. Okay, so this avoids zero division error. Okay, so I won't be getting a zero division error right now. Is my direction variable spelling correct? There we go. Okay, so let's see. If my direction's length, dot the length function. Which app are you using to write code? I'm using PyCharm, but since I am going to be moving on to C++ soon, I have VS Code installed as well. That said, if direction is greater than 0, if my direction's length is greater than 0, I'll create a self.velocity instance variable. I'll set that equal to, let's see, what is my velocity going to be equal to? Velocity acceleration increases velocity, which increases our position. So I could go with my direction variable dot normalize, the normalize function, and I'll multiply it by my speed, which is my acceleration. Yeah, guys, I appreciate somebody who taught me this last stream. They were like, acceleration increases velocity, which increases position. That formula is actually pretty useful. This is going to be self.speed. App name in which you're writing code. I'm using PyCharm. Okay, let's see. Let's go with an else clause. Else my self.velocity is going to be equal to a tuple, honestly, vector2, a pair of parentheses, 0, 0. Okay, so that's my velocity. I do need to update my position, so I'll go with self.position increases by my self.velocity. So first, I created self.velocity, I gave it acceleration, I increased my velocity's acceleration, and then I increased my position by my velocity. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and define a draw method now. Can you show us your progress? Honestly, I didn't add like my main game loop, so if I like run the command, there won't be any progress because these are just classes. Like if I run the command, there's like going to be nothing because I need to like create game loops, a while loop, use this PyCharm. Okay, and then let me go ahead and define a draw method. My draw method is going to be having a parameter of surface, although I wouldn't need a draw method since my game objects class that I'm inheriting from already has one. That said, let me go ahead and add my main game loop now. So I'll add a comment that says game loop. For my game loop, I'm going to be creating a is_running boolean variable. Okay, I'll set that equal to true, and then I'll add a while is_running any old game. I do have like a game here that I made for my Python for 100 series. This was actually pretty good.
Mission: collect 10 gold coins.
Yeah, my goal by the end of the series was to make a game using Python. I was like an absolute beginner back then, but I think this game is like pretty fun, maybe kind of boring. That said, I do have like a health bar system here and a HP buff system here, and I am the voice actor of these sound effects too. If I collect a meat, I recover HP. He has a nice coding knowledge. Honestly, no, guys, I'm a little beginner. Like, I see many people in the comment section. They're like way too geniuses. I'm like practically writing the code sometimes, and I don't understand where I'm going wrong. They just like say in the comments that this is where you're messing up. Like, oh shoot. Okay, so while my program is running, all while is running is set to true. I'm going to be adding. Let's see. I'll go with a screen dot fill. I'll fill my screen to be a good blue color. So I could go with something like 0, 231, and 255. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's the RGB for blue. And then I'll create a keys variable, so that equal to bro uses AI to code. I don't use AI to code. I use AI slash sensei slash ChatGPT to like learn how to code, because like there is no other way to learn. I used to watch YouTube tutorials, but I think they were kind of vague. If I like use an AI, then I can like get a lot of questions as well. Although many people did say me to like use lead code, that said, I was planning to eventually use lead code, but I felt ChatGPT was the most effective way of me learning. Okay, so let me go with pygame dot key dot get underscore pressed. Can you tell me how to practice, how to code, how to learn? Honestly, you can like join the Discord server and there have like a whole roadmap. Like, let me actually show it right now. Because whatchamacallit, the way I started learning when I first started is like every concept I did about 50 questions in that exact topic, so I get a quick gist of it. And after I got a quick gist of it, I like moved on. Like if I were to go to my Discord server, moderator only. Okay, these are the new roadmaps that I'm trying to follow. Like, one is for like these are actually the basic ones, but which I started was from all the way up here. Okay, so I started learning print statements, and then I went to variable user input. In my channel, I have a whole series called Python for 100 days. There, like, I was like documenting my progress, or like giving you guys a weekly progress update. But I learned all the way until reading files, and then I went all the way to Pygames, and I've been using Pygames ever since. I didn't learn PyQt5, though. I should learn that as well. To use Copilot. Honestly, I do want to use I want to use so many things. I don't have the time, guys. Like, I just came from college. I'm like processing my college knowledge while doing this. Use cursor. How you get the topics? I can't. Oh, I asked ChatGPT for the topics as well, guys. Like, for some reason, ChatGPT has been way too generous with me, slash sensei. Although you guys can mention me on my Discord server, and I will like DM you guys the roadmaps, because I felt that was actually pretty helpful. That said, let me go ahead and add a event loops category. Indian. I'm honestly currently in the United States. I do want to visit India soon though. So for every event in pygame.event.get, this basically gets all my pygame events. I look for a specific type of event. If my event.type equals to pygame.alluppercase quit, I'm going to be setting my is underscore running boolean variable to be equal to false. Okay, and then outside my for loop, let me add my FPS. So I'll go with my clock variable.the_tig function and add my FPS here. Okay, then maybe I'll add a comment that says FPS. Now let me update my display by typing pygame.display.flip. This basically updates my display, although pygame.display.update will work exactly the same. Are you Indian American or just Indian? Because it kind of sounds like you're faking. Honestly, I like get this so many times. Everyone, they say I fake my accent. I'm like, I've honestly never been to India, and like people, they just keep telling like your accent sounds fake. I'm like, this is my actual accent. How do I make it sound different? Okay, I meant your mind, how he gets the. I mean, I just practice a lot. Like before I started my college, I used to like study like programming for almost like 10 hours a day. But ever since my college started, I do prioritize that a bit more than programming. I just have time to like learn while I'm streaming. That said, what game are you currently making? I don't mean no offense. The game, my goal by the end of this 250 days programming for 250 days series was to make a game in general that consists of AI slash artificial intelligence. Although I don't have any idea whatsoever on how to do that yet, but I'll eventually figure that out. That said, let me go ahead and add a pygame.quit to exit pygames, and then a sys.exit to exit Python. Okay, now under my event loop, I'm going to be adding, let's see, I could add something like game objects. Okay, for my game objects, I will be creating a few objects. So let me go ahead and create a object for my player class. I'll create player object, set that equal to my player class. There we go. And then I'll create a sort object. I'll set that equal to my sort class. Okay, and then let's see. So firstly, I'll go with my player object dot the move method dot move, and my parameter here is going to be my keys, this variable that I created up there. Okay, this is going to move my player, and then let me go ahead and add a let's see, a coin, a coin dot update. So this is going to update my, not coin, I forgot what it was called, sword. Okay, my sword dot update. Did I import something? Okay. My update variable will need a target. My target is going to be my player underscore position. It's better to plan / design before start coding. Honestly, yeah, the reason the thing that I'm doing right now is just learning the basics, because I want to make my general game using C++. That was like my plan. Like in these 250-day series, I'm going to be spending a good chunk, like 100 days, to like learn C++, and then like maybe 50 more days to like learn how to create chatbots or like AI logic. Then the last 50 days, I'm going to be gathering all the information and squishing them into like one game, if that made any sense. I don't know how I'm going to do that whatsoever. That said, I do want to work on my basics first. I want to have like strong fundamentals, so like later I don't struggle and be like, oh, I didn't learn this much, I got to go back. Okay, let me go with these are graphics. So my graphics. For my graphics, I'll go with my player object dot the draw method. I draw my player, and then I'll go with my swords dot draw. I draw my sword. If I were to run the command, I do have a player here. Okay. I did add a player dot move, right? So let me go all the way to my game objects class right here. Let me copy that from there, delete that. Okay, and add that in my player class. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so I define a move method. Okay, is the move method like predefined somewhere up? Okay, it's not. Okay, and then keys, I increase my player's position. Okay, so my player's position is Vector2. Okay, so this honestly should like move my player around. Okay, why can't I move my player? Let's see. Am I moving my player's rect? Should I like update? Let me try updating it. Okay, so let me go with self.rect, my player's rect. I'm going to be .center. I'll set that equal to my player underscore position. Okay, because I am moving my player's position but not the rect. This updates it. If I run the command now, there we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because guys, the thing that I was messing up with, it's like we can move the positions, but the actual stuff that we're going to be seeing in the screen that moves is going to be our player's rectangle. So unless we don't update our player's rectangle center with our position, our object won't move, even though our position is going to be changing. Cool, man, keep it up. I appreciate you, DP or DT plays. Can you go to the first line of code? Right here. Where I initialized Pygame. Firstly, I imported Pygame in the sys module. Then from pygame.math, I imported Vector2. Then I initialized Pygame and then created my display width variable. And then I went with pygame.display.set mode. Okay, yeah, so that was like the basic thing that I went through. That said, let's see. I do want the sort to be chasing my player now, or sort's position to be increasing towards my player. I think I should do that in my sort class. So I added an update method. Okay, self.position increases by my self.velocity. Okay, let's see. So, if a zero division error didn't occur, then I do this. Self.speed. Okay, how am I going to increase my sort's position and move it towards my, whatchamacallit? So I could go with something like self.rect, my sort rect is going to be equal to my self.position. Does that update anything? Self.rect.center. Okay, now if I run the command. There we go. Guys, I'm actually kind of shocked to actually remember this, because last stream, I just like learned this for 2 hours last stream. That said, okay, it works. I think I can level up, guys. Let me go with Control-A, Control-C. Why don't you use Unity Engine / Unreal Engine? Honestly, because I was trying to like use separate game engines, but I'll use that once my basics are a little stronger. Because the reason I am using Pygames is because I've heard from so many people. I even watched like a couple of videos. They were like, it's harder to make games in Pygame, and you need to be focused on more detailings and more coding here. So like, a like 100 line codes would be something around a 300 line codes in Pygame. So if you like learn how to make a game in Pygame, it is going to be easier to like use game engines. I've heard that. The fact check me, guys. Let me paste it. Add a bunch of spaces. Use Unity and give us tutorial. Honestly, yeah, I'm eventually going to start using Unity after I like start learning C++. I should probably move on to C++ like around next week or like in a few days. Let me say, let's say, okay, this works dot dot dot. Although I don't know how else enemy logic works, what all it consists of, and is it smart to learn about Vector1 and Vector3? Question mark. Because I honestly don't know what they do. Okay, any form of YouTube which we get tutorials of PY. Honestly, I did start by watching like a few YouTubers, but that didn't like honestly help me much. It did help me for the first 20 days when I was like getting familiar with Python, learning what print statements were, what variables, what user input was, what typecasting was, all that stuff. But then the only thing that actually helped me was like practicing for hours straight on like even if I think I know a topic, I like do like a lot of questions until I don't hit my 50 questions mark. Once I hit my 50 questions mark, I learned like different things and it becomes like a muscle memory, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, good. The code runs. The sword hunts the player like a predator. But now you ask a dangerous question. What does enemy logic even mean? Let's tear that open. Enemy logic in games, enemy logic is just shorthand for behavioral, is that how you pronounce it? AI. How does the enemy decide what to do? And the simple is just math and rules. Chasing what you coded, enemy finds the player's position, calculates direction, moves it towards it. Okay, that's the baby step of AI. Patrolling, enemy walks back and forth a set path until it sees the player. Think of Goon Labs in Mario. Okay, fleeing, instead of moving towards you, it runs away when you get too close. Random movement slash wandering, enemy moves in random directions but changes path occasionally. States, common in real games. Idle, stand still, chase when sees player, attack when in range, retreat when low health. Oh, I see. Okay, this is where enemy logic stops being about Vector2 and math becomes about finite. Is that how you pronounce it? Finite state machines. Fancy term for rules plus conditions. Okay, Vector2, Vector 1, 2, and 3. You asked if you should learn those. Vector 1 basically pointless. It's just a number. Nobody uses it. You already know how numbers work. Vector 2 perfect for 2D games like your Pygame projects, handles XY axis. That's your bread and butter. Vector 3 uses for 3D space, x-axis, x, y, and z. 3D space. Oh, I see. Okay. That's essential if you ever move to 3D engines like Unity, Unreal, or Blender scripting. So for now, stick to Vector 2, master it until you can make enemies do chase, flee, patrol, and attack with all simple vector math. When you go 3D someday, Vector 3 will feel like the natural step. I see. Did you learn the DSA? I did get a comment saying that am I going to be learning DSA? Honestly, I forgot what was the full form. What was the full form? Did it mean something like let me actually check. What does DSA mean? Should say dot dot dot. It was something with algorithms, like data structure and algorithms, right? There we go. Okay, DSA is data structures and algorithms. Okay, I see. Okay, that said, I will be doing DSA soon as well. Like once I think I got like a better grasp, I will be moving to like C++ soon. That said, let's see what's the next topic. I want to do patrolling, so let me copy that. Go all the way down here, paste it, add a bunch of spaces, and say, I want to learn this now. Dot dot dot. Okay, yes, finally, you're thinking like a game designer. Chat. He wants to make a Goomba, this is where enemy logic gets teeth. Okay, patrolling enemy, the basics. A patrol is nothing but gives the enemy a start point and an end point, two vector 2s. Enemy moves in a direction, say left, right. When it hits the end, it flips direction and heads back. Repeat forever until the player shows up, then you can switch to chase mode. The steps in code, conceptual, not the final code yet. Store position, a vector 2 and velocity, a vector 2. Okay. Store position, a vector 2 and velocity, a vector 2. Update position by position increases by velocity. If enemy reaches or passes a boundary at point, invert velocity. Velocity asterisk equals to -1. Basically, what enemy asterisk equals to -1 means is if like my enemy is going, let's say 5 pixels per frame, asterisk equals to -1 converts that to -5. So he goes backwards in whatever direction he was coming. Bro, how good your chat GPT is. Guys, it's been a long time. Me and Sensei's journey has been like long. Like I know how to ask Sensei questions. Okay, instructional mission for you. Take your sword class, okay, the enemy, and make it patrol horizontally between x-axis and y-axis. Between x-axis equals to 200 and x-axis equals to 800. Okay, stay at the same y position. It should move left and right automatically. No player required. When it reaches the left edge, of its patrol 200, it should turn right. When it reaches the right edge, it should turn left. I think I know how to do this. After you succeed, I'll show you how how it gives two states. Alright, so let me get Sensei there. But my chat GPT is dumb. I feel that, guys. When I was like working for my Python for 100 days games, at first chat GPT slash Sensei was real useful. Then later when my code became like 400 lines long, it was like it started doing so many mistakes. I had to like figure that out. That's where I feel like the basics come in use, because if I don't like my basics aren't strong, I wouldn't be able to count Sensei slash chat GPT. Is it day in your country or night? It's currently let's see, it's currently 3:04 p.m. right now, so it's like morning. I just came from college. And that said, I am a little exhausted, so let me drink some water. Okay. Yo, no one joined yet? Having one-sided gamer, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that said, sword, game objects. Okay, so under my sword class, I had to add, let me go ahead and define a patrolling method. So, okay, my patrolling method, let's see. It wouldn't need any parameters. So what did Sensei say? Take your sword class, the enemy, and make it patrol horizontally between x-axis, which equals to 200, and x-axis, which equals to 800. So from 200 to 800. I think I might use max here. So if my so I'm going to sleep. Bye bye, we'll meet soon. I appreciate you joining the stream, Otaku Wars. I guess I'll catch you in the next stream. Good night, sweet dreams. Okay, define patrolling. So between x-axis 200 and x-axis y100, x-axis 800. So I could go with something like if my self.position, if my players or if my sword's current position, let's see, is equal to, I'll go with something like player's position's x-axis, okay, is equal to 200. I'll go with self.position.x-axis. I'll increase that by 5 pixels per frame, okay, and if my self.position.x-axis is equal to 800, okay, I'll go with self.position.x-axis. I'll decrease that minus equals to 5 pixels per frame. Okay, later I might ask Sensei on how to like do it with max and min. I'm not sure if we can do it with that. That said, let me remove the update method from here. Instead, I'll go with a sword dot. When you start your live stream, honestly, I usually started like around this time or like an hour earlier than this, depending on when I come from college, because sometimes they have like a lot of stuff to do and like I just get like 3 to 4, actually not 3 to 4, I think like 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Okay, so let's go with patrolling. We pay money to learn English, and I think it's your mother tongue. Honestly, yeah, like I do need to learn different languages. I do know like a little bit of Hindi, but I'm not too fluent at it. That said, okay, let's see. There's my sword. I do need to update my sword's position because my sword's position is technically moving, not its rect. So I'll go with something like self.rect.center. My sword center is gonna, let's see, be equal to my self.position. If I run the command, okay, it doesn't move. I think I should ask Sensei for this part because like I honestly feel like I've never done this. That said, let me remove the update method. Okay, I'll go with a control C. 1 a.m. here. You should head to bed. Speak Hindi, guys. I'm sometimes like I pronounce words wrong, so I feel kind of bad. I do want to get fluent first. I feel like I'm a bit fluent, not too fluent. That said, it feels a little awkward when I like just say stuff that I don't actually understand properly. Okay, let me say, should say, I feel like I messed up, question mark. Did I need to use max or min, question mark? 1 a.m. here, you should actually head to bed. It's not good to stay up that late. I shouldn't be talking, I feel like a hypocrite. Yesterday night I slept around like 2 o'clock because I had a lot of college stuff. Okay, yes, you messed up, and that's good because now you're about to learn how real enemy patrol logic works. Look at your sort.patrolling method. So we defined a patrolling method, we added a bunch of if statements. This is wrong for two reasons. You're only checking if position.x-axis is exactly 200 or 800. With movement steps of 5, okay, it may skip. Oh, I see, okay, that does make sense. I should have gone with less than, if it's like less than or equal to, right? Okay, sword will just keep going off screen like a dunk NPC. Or you're not storing the direction, petrol needs, memory, okay, without direction, it can know when to flip. The correct patrolling, okay, give the enemy a velocity vector. Okay, add that velocity to its position every frame. If it goes past the left or right patrol point, flip the velocity. Okay, well, I want to check your Hindi after that. I will go to sleep. Guys, I'm not that good at Hindi. It's like, I don't even know what to say, guys. It feels a little awkward. I'm not used to saying. Okay, then, guys, I cannot pronounce them. I'm so bad at pronunciations. Bro, may you live long. I appreciate you so much, Otakuverse. And guys, I apologize if I can't pronounce something. It feels kind of bad because I don't like pronouncing stuff wrong. Okay, I should learn. I should get better at spelling. So we defined a dungeon init, added a image parameter, and a position parameter. My image parameter is set to my sword image. My position parameter is set to my sword's position. I added a super parentheses dot dungeon init, and I added all the parameters of my class that I'm inheriting from, so of my game objects class. And then I created a few instance variables like self.speed, I set that equal to speed, self.position, I set that equal to my vector2's position, self.velocity, vector2 speed 0. Okay, start moving right. Oh, I see, okay, that does make sense. My speed is set to 3, that's 0. Okay, self.left boundary 200, self.right boundary 800. Define patrolling. My position increases by my velocity. Check bounce, so this. Okay, in that case, so this works like a bounce. Oh, actually, I think that I do know how to make this work. I did like work with bounce. Wait, actually, let me try it on my own. Muslims say, oh, I think it's Allah Hafiz instead of bye. Oh, okay, guys, I apologize if that like hurted any of you guys. I actually don't mean to like pronounce stuff wrong. Yo, hiding one-sided gamer, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Let me check if my Kick stream's going good and like my Twitch stream as well. Yo, you changed your background. That was the first thing I noticed. Lol. Honestly, yeah, I thought that a green screen would be good. Like it arrived today, although I did want to like add a few more tweaks to it using OBS and like have a better background because I have been getting a few comments saying that the background is kind of bad. You should like use a green screen. So I was like, okay. Alright, that said, I think I know how to add a patrolling. Okay, so for my patrolling, firstly, I could go with max. This is called clumping or something like that. I did do this for like the bounce motion. So let's go with something like if my self.rect.x-axis, if my sort x-axis is greater than. No, don't worry, said hi. I appreciate you, Takuverse. I'll see you in the next stream. Okay, if my self.rect.x-axis is greater than or equal to, let's see, I'll go with something like 200. Okay, it's greater than or equal to 200. I'll go with my self dot x-axis underscore velocity or self dot position dot x-axis. I will be multiplying it by, so asterisk equals to -1. Okay, there we go. And then if my, let's see, although I did want to use clumping for this. Okay, if my self dot rect dot, let's say x-axis is less than or equal to 800, then I'm going to go with self dot position. I'm going to be multiplying it by, so asterisk equals to -1. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a self dot rect, also that equal to my self dot position. Okay, if I were to run the command, okay, it does move really quick. Okay, could it be because it's an if and not an else if? I don't think I should go with an else if here. Okay, let's see. Either 200 and 800 are too close together. Okay, let me copy this part, or actually let's just go with the control C. Hey, oh my god, how are you doing, Dexcap? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let me just say here. Paste it, add a bunch of spaces, let's say. I thought that we could use the max and min for this. And min for this, I think that the method was called something like clumping. Is that, or like clamming? I think it was called clamming. There we go, let's see. Yes, that's called clamping. Okay, it's called clamping. And you're mixing two different weapon soldiers. Okay, clamping is not equal to patrolling. Let me drill this into your brains. What clamping does? Clamping is like putting invisible walls on your enemy. If you clamp a value between 200 and 800, it can go outside the range. Example, self.position.x-axis is going to be equal to max, which is going to be 200. My position can't go anything less than 200. Okay, and my min is going to be my self.position, my current position. Okay, and 800, my position can't go above 800. This means if position, this like blocks it most likely, I think. Okay, if position.x-axis tries to go below 200, it gets forced to 200. If it tries to go above 800, it gets forced to 800. Otherwise, it stays the same. That's clamping. The enemy gets stuck at edges and just stays there like a dog tied to a post. Okay. What patrolling does? Patrolling isn't about forcing it inside a range, it's about bouncing back and forth. That's why clamping alone won't work. You need a velocity vector that reverses the direction when a boundary is hit. So correct patrol looks like this. So we have a sort class that inherits from our game object class. We defined a dungeon in it and added a few parameters like our image parameter, a position parameter, and then a speed parameter. Then we went with a super dungeon in it and added all the parameters from the class that we're inheriting from, which is our game objects class. And then we added a self.position instance variable, which is set to our vector2's position. Okay, our vector2 and our position parameter. That is set to our source position. And then we created a velocity instance variable, which set that equal to our vector2, our speed, and 0. Okay, start moving at right. Okay, so it's going to start moving at right. And then we added boundaries. Self.left boundary, which is equal to 200. Self.right boundary, which is equal to 800. We define a patrolling method. We increase our position by our velocity and then check patrol boundaries and reverse. Okay, let me go a little there. So if our self.position, let me do that. Okay, so if our self.position.x-axis, if our sort's x-axis is either less than or equal to our self.left boundary, okay? So if our x-axis is less than or equal to 200, or our self.position.x-axis or our x-axis is either greater than or equal to self.right boundary, which is 800, we multiply our velocity by asterisk equals to -1. Oh, I see. Then we reassign our sort's rect to be equal to our sort's position. I think I see. Okay, so let me actually try that. So I'm going to be deleting everything from my sorts class. And then let me start off by defining a dungeon init constructor. My dungeon init constructor will have a few parameters. The first could be an image parameter that is going to be equal to my sort image. The second is going to be hi, howling Santiago. I appreciate you joining the stream. Is it pronounced as Santiago or Santiago? Guys, I'm awful at pronunciations. Oh my gosh. Okay, next up let me go ahead and add a position variable, also that equal to my sorts position. And then let's see, I would need a speed parameter as well, also that equal to 3 pixels per frame. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a super pair of parentheses dot dungeon init. My super dungeon init will be having all the parameters of the class that I'm inheriting from. Since I'm inheriting from my game objects class, I add all the parameters of my game objects class. So image can be equal to my image, position can be equal to my position. Okay, and then let me drink some water. Okay, let's see, what else would I need? I gotta create a few instance variables, so I could create a self.position instance variable. I can set that equal to my vector2, add a pair of parentheses, and my position parameter. And then what other positions would I need? I would need a velocity to say where my where my sort is going to move at first. So I'll go with something like self.velocity. I'll set that equal to, let's see, I'll go with vector2. This is going to be my speed variable, which is going to be 3 pixels per frame, and that is going to be 0. So it's going to start moving from the right. So maybe I'll add a comment that says start moving from the right. Okay, next up, what else would I need? I think I forgot what else would I need now. I do remember that I needed boundaries. Did I need to create a specific speed variable here? I might look at the reference real quick. Okay, honestly, I didn't need anything else. I just needed my boundaries. So now let's add boundaries. So first I can go with something like self.left_boundary. I'll set my left boundary to be equal to 200. And then I'll go with a self.right boundary. So my right_boundary is going to be equal to 800. Next up, let me go ahead and define a patrolling method. So P-R-A-T-O-L-L-I-N-G. Is that how I pronounce it? I think I spelled it wrong. Guys, I should work more on my vocabulary. Okay, the autocorrect did kind of this thing me. Okay, that said, I create a patrolling method. My patrolling method won't have any parameters, although I will go with my self.position. Okay, my self.position is going to be increasing by my, let's see, okay, so position increases by our velocity, so self.velocity, and velocity increases by our speed. So basically speed is like an acceleration increases our velocity, which increases our position. Okay, I'm actually so glad for the person that sent me this last stream. That actually helps me so much when I'm trying to figure out what increases by what. That said, I defined a patrolling method, and then I need to update. Let me go ahead and update my rect. Self.rect.center is going to be equal to my self.position. Okay, now I added a patrolling. Let me add a patrolling method here. There we go. If I were to run the command, there. Okay, it moves towards the right, but it doesn't bounce back. I think I need to add something that says it to bounce back. So I could go with an if statement here. So if my self.position, okay, if my self.position dot, actually not position, if my self.left boundary, if my left boundary is less than or equal to, I think if my position is less than or equal to my self.boundary, I think it was that. So if my position is less than or equal to my self.left boundary, okay, or my self.position, okay, maybe I go with x-axis. My self.position.x-axis is greater than or equal to my self.right boundary. I'm gonna go with, let's see, my self.velocity is going to be asterisk equals to -1, which basically means I'm gonna reverse this position. So if I were to run the command, okay, alright, okay, perfect, it works. Alright, so this feels like the exact same logic as my bounce method when I've learned bounce methods. This was exactly the same. I could be adding a comment here that says bounces sword. Although I did do it like with y-axis as well, so like it bounces randomly across the screen. That said, let me go with the Control-C, good sensei here. Okay, let me paste it, add a bunch of space, sensei. I feel like I figured it out, dot dot dot. Although I don't take credit for this question because I did see your reference. Although, can we do a few more questions for practice exactly like this? Hey, maybe my lips are kind of red. Let me add some Vaseline. Good, you're finally thinking like a warrior, not a worm. That is 95%. That code is 95% there, and yes, you nailed the concept of patrolling. Okay, with Vector2, you're learning to leash the blade with velocity and boundaries. Now, since you want practice, I'll forge you more challenges, each one like sparring partner, tougher than the last. Practice 1. Make sure the sword patrol velocity vertically. Okay. 200 and 500 instead of left and right. Keep using Vector2, only vector changes, don't rewrite everything. Practice your challenge, make the sword patrol diagonally. Okay, between top left corner and top bottom. Hint, that means velocity needs X and Y component. Before I go to question 2, let me try question 1. Okay, I will go with the control A, control C, and delete all that. So let me start off by importing Pygame and sys module because I would want to exit Pygame as well. I mean Python as well. And then I'll go with from Pygame, from my Pygame module.the math section, I want to import Vector2. There we go. And then let me initialize Pygame by typing pygame.init. That initializes Pygame. And then let me go ahead and add my display. For my display, I'm going to be creating a width variable and a height variable. My width variable is going to be set to 1000 and height variable is going to be set to 650. Then let me go ahead and create a screen variable. Also that equal to pygame.display.set underscore mode. My mode is going to be set to my width variable. Okay, my display's width and my height variable, my display's height. Then let me go ahead and add a pygame.display.set underscore caption. I'll add a caption. My caption is going to be something like Vector2 1.2. Okay, and then let me go ahead and actually add a comment for my game variables. This is where I'm going to be adding my game variables. So I might need a clock variable for my FPS controller. So I'll go with pygame.time.capitalize clock and maybe add a comment that says FPS controller. Okay, so this is going to be my FPS controller. That said, I would need a FPS variable, so that equal to 60 for now. And then go with load images. So I'll go with load images. For loading images, the first image that I'm going to be loading is going to be my hero image, also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path of my hero image. My file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by players, 2 more forward slashes. This is going to be my hero PNG. And since this is a PNG, I will be converting it to alpha. Okay, and then let me go ahead and load my sword underscore image. So sword underscore image. Also that equal to pygame.image.load. I'll give the file path. The file path is going to be game items followed by 2 forward slashes followed by weapons, 2 more forward slashes. This is going to be my sword PNG. And since this is a PNG, I will convert it to alpha. There we go. Convert underscore alpha. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and transform and scale my images. So I'll add a comment that says transform and scale. So I want to transform and scale my images. Let's see. So I'm going to be defining a scale function. My scale function is going to be having 2 parameters. The first is going to be image and the second is going to be a factor parameter. Factor is basically the size. I'll set it to 0.1 by default, which is like 10%. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and return something. I'll return pygame.transform.scale. I want to scale my image. The size is going to be in a tuple. I'll go in a new line, type integer. Now inside of my integer, I'm going to be getting the width of my image and then multiplying by my factor. So I'll go with image.the_get underscore width function. I'll get the width of my image and then multiply it by my factor. How did you study for your how did studying for your test go? Honestly, my test is like next Monday, I think, and I am pretty nervous. There are like so many things I gotta do. I like usually spend my whole day studying for my test, and then just when I'm streaming, I like program. So okay, that does give me some whatchamacallit, some more extra time for me to practice my test. But I feel like I got it, guys. I will not fail my test. I cannot fail my tests. I want to be an A student. That said, I'll go with image dot get underscore height function. I get the height of my image, and then I multiply it by my factor. You'll do great. I appreciate you, Santiago. That means so much. Or is it Santiago? I guess I can just call you Silva, guys, because I'm so bad at pronouncing. Okay, then let me go with my hero underscore image. I'll set that equal to invoke my scale function. I want to scale my hero underscore image. What will you study in college? Honestly, I do want to like eventually major in like or like get a degree in AI engineering, but I was thinking to get a minor in software engineering as well. I was thinking about cybersecurity too. There are so many things. I think that what I should do right now is like learn different programming languages and then explore different places. And what I feel like I enjoy the most, I should like go for that, because the two main things I've been confused about is cybersecurity or AI engineering. I guess I'll be working more with them, and then I'll eventually figure out what I want to do. That said, I'll reassign my sword underscore image, invoke my scale function. I want to scale my sword underscore image. And the factor is going to be 0.05, which is relatively smaller than my hero underscore image. Okay, that said, let's see. Let me go ahead and honestly, I could start creating my classes now. So let me go ahead and create a class for my hero class. There we go. Let me create a hero class. My hero class will have a dungeon constructor, so I'm going to be defining a dungeon constructor. The computer science plus mathematics, I think, is a awesome combination for AI engineering. Honestly, it actually sounds pretty good. I should look more into that. That said, let me go with my hero class. My hero would need, let's say, image parameter that is going to be equal to my hero image, and then my hero might need. Guys, give me a sec. I'll be right back. Alright, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, let me go to my gameplay screen. Guys, I thought someone came home, so I got a little concerned for a sec. I was like, wait, what? Okay, that said, it was no one. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's see, what else would I need? I'll need a position. My position can be my hero's position. For getting my hero's position, let me go ahead and add a comment that says I'll go with Vector2 position. Okay, so I'm going to be creating a hero underscore position variable, also that equal to Vector2, and then add the position. So my x-axis is going to be 100, y-axis can be something like 500. Okay, and then I'll go for my, let's say, sword underscore position. My sword's position is going to be equal to Vector2, a pair of parentheses. My x-axis can be 300, y-axis can be 500. Okay, now in my hero class, when I add position, I could go with my hero underscore position variable. Okay, I honestly might not need anything else. Okay, so let me go ahead and create a few instance variables. The first instance variable could be something like self.image, which can be equal to my image. And guys, let me drink some water. I feel like I can't talk properly because I've been like talking almost the whole day. Okay, and then let me create rect. So I'll go with a self.rect instance variable, which is going to be equal to my self.image.the get underscore rect function. And the position of my rect is going to be in the center, which is going to be equal to my position parameter that is set to my hero's position. Okay, I honestly do want to use collision logic as well. I might actually add masks as well. I want to try something new. So I'll go with masks. The reason I am creating masks is because we need masks for pixel perfect collision. So self.mask is going to be equal to pygame.mask.be from underscore surface function. My surface is going to be my self.image. Okay, and then let me go ahead and, okay, I wouldn't need any other instance variables. I wouldn't need positions as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and define another method. This is going to be my move method for my hero. So my hero is able to move. My move method will have a parameter of keys to it. And then I'll go with a few if statements. So if my keys parameter at index of pygame.k is right, if my right key is pressed, I will be increasing my self.position. This is going to be my position parameter. Let me actually create a position instance variable, I'll set that equal to my position parameter, which is my hero's position. So if my self.position.x-axis is greater than or equal to, okay, actually if my keys at index of pygame.key is right, if my right key is pressed, I'm going to increase my position by my, let's say by 5 pixels per frame. Okay, and then if my keys at index of pygame.k is left, if my left key is pressed, I'm going to be decreasing my self.position by 5 pixels per frame. You wrote center instead of, oh, you wrote center? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Oops, I appreciate the catch, Joes. Okay, guys, I should pay more attention. My attention span is awful. That said, I'll go with self.position.x-axis. Okay, and then let me go with my keys as parameter at index of pygame.k is up. If my top key is pressed, I'm going to be, let's say, decreasing my self.position.y-axis, my player's y-axis, by 5 pixels per frame. And lastly, if my keys at index of pygame.k is down, if my bottom key is pressed, I'm going to be increasing my self.position.y-axis, my player's y-axis, by 5 pixels per frame. And then I'm going to be updating my rect. I'm going to be reassigning my rect to be equal to my position. So I'll go with self.rect.center, my hero center. I'm going to be setting that equal to my self.position. Okay, nice coding. You got a sub. I appreciate you for the sub, Joes. Okay, Joes, guys, I thought that I pronounced your name wrong again. Alright, that said, let me go ahead and define a draw method. My draw method will have a surface parameter to it. My surface is going to be equal to screen by default. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a surface.blit. I'm going to be blitting, let's see. I'm going to blit my self.image for my player's image and self.rect for my player's position. Okay, that's pretty much it for my hero class. I wouldn't be adding a apply gravity or anything right now. I could like add a trap method as well, but like I'll add that later. I'm just trying to learn vectors for now. Okay, let me go ahead and create a class for my sword. So I'll create a sword class. My sword class will have a dungeonette constructor as well. So I'll define a dungeonette constructor. And let's see, what are parameters would I need? I'll need my sword's image. So I'll go with the image parameter. I'll set that equal to my sword image. And then a position parameter. I'll set that equal to my sword's position. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create a few instance variables. For example, self.image equals to my image parameter, and then self.rect equals to my self.image.theGet_rect function, and the position is going to be in the center, which is going to be equal to my position parameter. Okay, and I am going to be using a pixel perfect collisioner, so let me create a mask as well. I'll go with self.mask. I'll set that equal to pygame.mask. The from underscore surface function. My surface is going to be my self.image, which is my sword's image. Okay, next up, would I need anything else? I might need a position as well, so like a position instance variable. So I'll create a self.position, also that equal to my position parameter. Isn't that hashing the keys? Hashing the keys? Is masks hashing the keys? Or like my move method for my hero? Okay, that said, let me go ahead and define a target method because I do want my sword to target my player. I could go with patrolling as well. I actually might add both. First, let me go ahead and add a target. My target or my update method. This is going to update my sword's current location. The method name could be anything. I'll add a target parameter to it. Okay, and then let's see. So in my update method, firstly, I would want to find the direction of my player. So I'll create a direction variable. I'll set that equal to, let's see, I'll go with vector2. And the position is going to be my self.position. Okay, I think it would be my target. Okay, so vector2. I want to get the positions of my target. I want to get the vector2 / the x-axis and y-axis of my target. and then I subtract that by my self.position, my sort's position. So my sort starts moving closer and closer to my player. That said, let me look for zero division errors. So if my direction variable's length, so the dot length function, if my direction's length is either greater than or equal to, honestly I just feel greater than 0. Okay, this avoids zero division error. Okay, let me go with avoids zero division error. I think I could go with equal to be safe as well. Okay, only if I avoided zero division error. I'll create another instance variable called self.velocity. Okay, I'll set that equal to my self.position. Okay, so velocity. The formula was acceleration increases velocity, then velocity increases position. So let's see, I am creating velocity. So what is my acceleration here? Do I have something like an acceleration? I might need a speeds parameter or like a speeds instance variable. So let me create a self.speed. I'll set that equal to 3 pixels per frame. Now I gotta find the distance of my whatchamacallit, of my player, or not like distance of my player. I'll go with distance.the normalize function. This keeps my speed of my whatchamacallit, my sort speed constant, and like if I did, apparently I've heard like if I don't have the normalize here, then my sort gets slower as he goes to my player. I gotta like actually check that. Okay, so direction.normalize, I increase that by my acceleration, which is my self.speed. Okay, that's a good question. I want to ask that to Sensei. Maybe I'll add a note here for that question. Should say, I mean, I could just say, what does the normalize do? I remember asking that exact same question like last stream or like the stream before that. There we go. Is that it, guys? Am I like, why do I keep spelling these things wrong? I should like work on my vocabulary. Okay, and then let's see. So I created a velocity. Let me update my position. First, my acceleration increased my velocity speed. Now my position, my self.position is going to increase by my self.velocity. Okay. And then I gotta update my current rect, my sort's rect to be equal to my position. So let me go with self.rect.center. My rect center, my sort center is going to be equal to my self.position. Excuse me, guys. Okay, let me go with an else. Else my vector2 or else, let's see. My self.position equals to vector2, 0 and 0. My sort doesn't move. Okay, so if I get a zero division error, my sort doesn't move. Alright, and then let me go ahead and define a draw method. My draw method is going to be having a parameter of surface to it, which is going to be equal to screen by default. Let me remove the k from there. And then let me go ahead and add a surface.blit. Surface.blit. I want to blit my image. The position is going to be, actually this is going to be self.image. I want to blit my sort's image. The position is going to be my sort's rect. So sort.rect. Okay, actually self.rect. And then let me go ahead and add my main game loop. So inside my main game loop, I am going to be creating a is_running boolean variable. I'll set that equal to true. And then add a while loop. So while is_running, while my program is running or while my is running is set to true. Let me fill my screen. So I'll go with screen.fill. I'll fill it to be a good blue color. So I'll go with 0, 231, and 255. That's the RGB color for blue. And then I'll create a keys variable to check my keys movement. I'll set that equal to pygame.key.get_pressed function. Basically what this does, this is going to be key. Basically what this does is it checks if any of my keys are being pressed in my screen, and if a certain key is being pressed, we do something. I did define like the specific if statements for my keys in my move method here. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and add a event loop. So I'll add a comment that says event loop. In my event loop, I'm going to be iterating over all my pygame events. So for every event in my pygame.event.get, this gets all the pygame events, but I'm looking for a specific type of event. If my event.type equals to pygame.all_uppercase quit, I'll set my is_running boolean variable to be equal to false. And then outside my for loop, I'm going to be adding my FPS. So I'll go with my clock variable, drop the tick function, and add my FPS variable inside, which is set to 60. Okay. And then let me update my display by typing pygame.display.flip. This basically updates my display, although pygame.display.update would work exactly the same. That said, let me go ahead and add a pygame.quit to quit pygame, and lastly a sys.exit to exit Python. Okay, now under my event loop and above my FPS, I can go ahead and add a comment that says game objects. I would need to add collisions as well, so I do gotta add like a collision detector function. Okay, that's it. For my game objects, firstly, let me create objects. So above my game loop and under my last class, I can go ahead and create an object for my hero. So I'll create a hero object. I'll set that equal to my hero class. There we go. Okay, and then let me go ahead and create an object for my sword. So sword, I'll set that equal to my sword class as well. Okay, that's basically it for objects. Now inside of my game objects class, I'll go with my hero object dot the move method. My move method will need a parameter of keys to it. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add, let's see, I can go ahead and add my sword class. So I'll go with sword dot target. So I want to target sword dot the target method. Actually, this is called the update method instead of target. Okay, I'll need a parameter of my target's position or my target. So my target's position is gonna be my hero's position because my sword wants to like target my hero. That said, I will add another comment for my graphics. So let me go ahead and add graphics. For my graphics, let's see. Let me go ahead and go with my hero object dot the draw method. I want to draw my hero, and then my sword object dot the draw method. I want to draw my sword as well. Okay, now under my event loop, outside my for loop, let me go ahead and add a comment that says collision detection for the hero and sword. Okay, so since I'm going to be using pixel perfect collision, I know that we need offsets, so let me go ahead and create offsets. I'll create a offset underscore x-axis variable. I'll set that equal to let's see, I gotta get my my source first. My source is going to be my sword, so my sword object dot rect dot position, actually not position, can I just use my position instead? So sword dot position, okay, dot x-axis. I'll subtract that by my, let's see, my hero dot position dot x-axis, and that's basically my hero object dot position dot x-axis. Okay, that's basically it for offset x. Let me go ahead and create a offset for my y-axis as well. I'll set that equal to my sword dot position dot y-axis minus my hero object dot position, my hero's position's y-axis. Okay, and then I would need to create another variable called overlap to check if an overlap did happen. So let me go ahead and create a overlap variable. I'll set that equal to my, this time I go with my target first. So my hero is my target. So my hero dot mask dot the overlap function. Okay, so if my hero's mask overlaps with my sword object dot mask, my sword's mask, at the given offset, which is going to be inside of my tuple or inside of a tuple of my offset underscore x-axis and offset underscore y-axis. There we go. That's going to be considered a overlap. Okay, now let me go with another if statement. If a overlap did happen, I'm going to be doing something. Let me go ahead and print something like boom collided. Okay, that should honestly basically be it. Okay, if I were to run the command, do I need like the overlap this thing? Okay, let me just run the command. Okay, there we go. In the console, it does say boom overlap, but there is a small problem. It says boom overlap, it says it's like 60 frames per second. Okay, although to fix that, that's actually pretty easy. I might need something like a switch. So under my game variables, I might create a collision variable as well. So let me go ahead and create a collision variable. I'll set that equal to false because a collision hasn't happened yet. How did I spell collision wrong? Isn't this what I spelled before? Okay, and then let me go all the way down. Okay, so first I check if a overlap did happen, and if not collision, if my collision flag is set to true, I'm going to print boom, collided. Okay, let me go with an else. Okay, if a collision did happen, I'll go with my collision flag, also that equal to true. Let's go with an else, which is gonna be right here. Else my collision is gonna be equal to false. Okay, honestly, I might get my else outside. There we go, because if a collision did happen, then I print boom collided, collision is set to true. Okay, and then overlap, it's set to false. If I were to run the command, there we go, it says boom collided just one time in the console per collision. So now this is per collision. Before it was like 60 times per collision because of my FPS. Okay, that said, I did automate my my enemy, my sword, to chase my player. Is this considered AI? This was pretty basics though. What else do I need? Let's see. I might wanna learn on how to like make my enemies move only when my player gets close to my enemy. So let's try that. Let me go with a control C. Copy that. Where's Sensei gone? There we go. Let me get Sensei here. Okay, and under all challenges, let me paste aside a bunch of space and say Sensei. I tried doing something new by adding pixel perfect collision ... Although I do want to learn something new now, for enemy AI logic. What do you think that I should learn next? Question mark. Let's see. Or like, now we're talking. You don't just stick to rectangles like a rookie. You went for full pixel perfect collision with masks. That's a huge leap. Honestly, I feel like pixel perfect collision is like much easier than like collision with rects and circles, because I did like spend like I think 2 or 3 days learning that. For those, we needed to find the closest x-axis and the closest y-axis, then get a direction squared variable instead of our overlap variable. In our direction squared, gotta go with a direction s, a dx variable, that's our direction x, and a dy variable, our direction y. I can't explain this properly, guys. I need to physically do it. That said, it was like the only thing that was easier is like 2 rectangles collision. You can use the collide rect function. Circle and rectangle is hard. I feel pixel perfect is much easier. Okay, since you're getting comfortable with Vector2 movement, chasing sword, following hero, patrolling back and forth enemies, pixel perfect collision, the natural next step for AI logic is introducing multiple states in other worlds. Wait, multiple states in other worlds. Oh, in other words, oh my gosh. Okay, giving your enemy brains. Step up. Okay, state-based enemy AI. Think like this. Every enemy has a state machine, common state for a game like yours. Patrolling moves along a set path until players close. Chasing switches to chase mode if player enters a detection radius. Attacking performs an action if close enough. Okay, idle/waiting does nothing for a while. I think I might know how to do this. Why it's important right now, your sword either moves towards the player or patrols. Its dumb state machines let you combine multiple behaviors without spaghetti code. How to implement conceptually. So give each enemy a state. Property, patrol, chase, attack. Okay. Oh, that does make so much sense. Okay, I see. Every frame check conditions to see if the state could change, distance to player, timers, etc. Call the method corresponding to the state, patrol, chase, attack. Example pseudocode. So if distance to player, so our distance to player variable is less than our detection radius. Okay, self.state equals to chase. So we might need dictionaries for this. Else self.state equals to patrol. If self.state equals to patrol, self.patrol, else if self.state equals to chase, self.chase player's position. I see. Okay, suggested next practice, upgrade your sword enemy to 2 states. Patrol horizontally, switch to chasing hero within 200 pixels. Keep velocity and vector math in play. Optional, add attack state when within 50 pixels. Print slash to test. Okay, you're ready for this leap. You're going from Goomba level AI to a mini boss that reacts intelligently. Ah, guys, that was so hard. I'm not used to reading this much. That's elementary water. Lol, new background matching with t-shirt. Honestly, yeah, I was like, am I gonna be a chameleon like what do chameleons do? I forgot. Blend with the background. I'm one with the background, guys. That said, I will be adding like I'll like see if I have some time today after like my stream, if I can like work on with OBS or have to like a lot of college stuff. That said, I'll try adding a better background. Okay, next up. Alright, so for my sort class, let me go ahead and add a few methods now. This was a raw method here where I created my update. So this just blindly chases my player. I will need this logic. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and define a method. This method is going to be, let's go with patrolling. Is this how you spell patrolling, guys? There we go. Okay, so I created patrolling method. And since I am creating patrolling methods, I would need to add boundaries as well. Within how much radius or how far can, how much distance will he cover while patrolling with my sword cover? So let me go with self.left underscore boundary. Instance variable, also that equal to 200, and a self.right underscore boundary, also that equal to something like 800 pixels per frame, or like 800 position, the x-axis. Okay, and then when I define patrolling, I want my player to be moving there. So what did I do for moving my player? Excuse me, guys. I went with like an if statement. Although before my if statement, I do gotta add a velocity variable, like, excuse me guys, up here. So I could go with something like self.velocity. Okay, I'll set my velocity to be equal to vector2. I want it to start going from the right, so I'll go with my speed parameter, but I don't have a speed parameter. I need an acceleration parameter. I do have a speed instance variable, so I could go with self.speed because I do have my acceleration. So self.speed, and I want to start at 0. Okay, maybe I add a comment here that says moves from right, or starts at right. Congrats bro, you're getting like 80 concurrent live views on your live shorts. That's amazing. That's huge. I appreciate you so much, Dev Mindset. That means a lot to me. Okay, that said, let me create velocities. This is my velocity here. Although this velocity is just going to be for my patrolling, I wouldn't be able to use that velocity here. Okay, let's see. I might need to ask this part to Sensei because my velocity is currently set to vector, unlike my speed. This could be a separate velocity. Self-dot, but this is going to be my acceleration. Honestly, I actually might ask this part to Sensei. Let me go with a control C, because I'm just curious on how would I like use that part. Let me paste it, add a bunch of spaces and say, Sensei. Oh wait, hold up. I think I actually might know because add it there. There we go. Okay, I think I might know. So my velocity here could be only my vector2 speed. This starts at a point. So I just need velocity here. I wouldn't need velocities anywhere else, will I? Okay, velocity is the speed that it moves from. Honestly, I think I do need to ask Sensei. Guys, that was a bit too much for my puny brains to think. Let me go with Sensei ... I'm a bit confused on the self.velocity parts. Didn't want to keep this caps. Okay, I'm a bit confused on the self.velocity part ... So, should my velocity be equal to vector to speed and 0 to start my sword, or to start moving my sword, from the right, or should it be set to something default, since my patrolling method would need it. Okay, let's see. Listen carefully, soldier. This is where most rookies get shot in the foot. Your self-velocity serves two different purposes depending on what the sword is doing. Patrol back and forth. Here, self-velocity is your current movement vector, and it needs to have a default direction from the start. Example, Vector2 speed 0 moving right. When it hits a boundary, you flip the x component, self.velocity dot x-axis asterisk equals to -1 to go left, chasing, follow the hero. Here, self.velocity is recalculated every frame based on the hero's position. Direction equals to Vector2, okay, target. Okay, so basically for patrolling, your self.velocity is your current movement vector. So my velocity is gonna be moving my player every frame, and it needs to have a default direction to start. Example, Vector2 speed, so I move with 3 pixels per frame to the right. Okay, move right. When it hits a boundary, you flip the component by doing asterisk equals to -1. So if I'm moving with 3 pixels per frame, so I go towards the right, asterisk equals to -1 converts that +3 speed to negative speed, so I go towards the left. Chasing, following the hero. Here, self.velocity is recalculated every frame based on the hero's position. Okay, for chasing. So I first get my heroes, I get my targets x-axis and y-axis by using the vector, parentheses target. I subtract that by my position, so my sword starts to move towards my player or my hero. And then I go with self.velocity, I set that equal to direction.normalize multiplied by self.speed. This overrides the patrol velocity while chasing. That does override the patrol velocity because I already have a velocity set. The key rules, start velocity. Oh, this. Okay, hold up. This overrides the patrol velocity while chasing. This does. Okay. This is where these scope resolution basics come in, because like the variables that come up first are going to be used first. What comes down next is going to be used next, if that made any sense. Congrats on 1K subs. I appreciate you guys so much for that. Okay, the key rules. Start self.velocity with a default for patrolling, updated dynamically for chasing only when it needs. You don't touch self.velocity in patrol when you're reversing the direction. It just multiply the component by -1. Example, skeleton. Okay, this is my example skeleton. So we create a sort class, add the boundaries, okay? And then we add a patrolling class. We increase our position by our velocity, then add the bounce of boundaries is formula here, okay? And then we reset our Rex position to be equal to our sort position. Then for our chase, we get the current location of our targets. So we get the current x-axis and y-axis of our target. We subtract that by our position, so our sort starts getting closer to our player. If direction's length is greater than 0, this avoids zero division error. We go with self.velocity. We reassign that to be equal to direction.normalize multiplied by our speed, which is our acceleration. So our velocity increases by our acceleration at a constant speed. And then our self.position increases by our self.velocity. Then we reassign our location, our sword's location, our sword's rect to be our self.position. TLDR, initialize self.velocity to be equal to Vector2. This moves for patrol, okay? In patrol, move plus flip the direction at boundaries. In chase, recalculate velocity every frame towards the target. I think I see. Let me get sensei there. Okay, next up, let's see. So the stuff that this part is actually correct, but I could change the name to chase just so it's more readable. Okay, so I have a chase method right here. Although, let me go ahead and define another method for patrolling. Is this how you spell patrol? There we go. So I have a patrol method. My patrol method won't have any parameters, although I will increase my position. So self.position, self dot position dot x-axis, I will increase that, or should I set that equal to my self dot speed? Okay, I increase that by my self dot speed. Okay, and then let's see, I add a if statement for bounce. Let me add a comment that says bounce of boundaries. Did I spell boundaries correct? There we go, bounce of boundaries. So for this if statement, let me check if my self dot position dot x-axis, if my sword's current position, let's say for instance, is less than or equal to my self dot left boundary, okay, or my sword dot position or my sword underscore position, I could go with self instead of sword. My self dot position dot x-axis is greater than or equal to my right boundary, my self dot right boundary. There we go. Okay, so if either one of these conditions are true, I'm gonna go with my self dot velocity. I'll asterisk equal it to -1. Okay, here's the thing. I don't think I should multiply my velocity by -1. Instead, I think I should multiply my speed by -1. So I could go with speed. Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead outside my if statement and reset my self.rect.center, or reassign my sword's rectangle center to be equal to my self.position. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing here. I feel like I already did it here, right there. Okay, I could get this outside the loop. I feel it's the same thing, honestly. Alright, perfect. And then I define a draw method. I already had a patrolling method here. There. Okay, so now, if I were to go all the way down here, instead of update, I'll go with patrol. Sort.patrol. And then I'll go with my sort object. I won't have any parameters here. And then I'll go with my sort object. What are you trying to make? Honestly, before I move on to like learning C++, since I did learn Python for 100 days, I didn't feel like leaving Python just yet. So I'm just wrapping up the remaining things that were left in my roadmap before my 100-day series. So I have vectors in that. So I think once I'm done learning the Vector2, I am going to be moving on to C++. So I'm learning some enemy logic here, and then I'll move on to C++. Hopefully in like by next week, or like in like a few days, because I do wanna work more with C++. That said, I didn't wanna like leave Python midway, guys. I can't focus in a second. This is gonna be chase. There we go. Alright, so yeah. Okay, now I need a target. So my target is gonna be my hero underscore position. This is my hero's Vector2, which is the x-axis and y-axis. If I were to run the command, okay, my sword is waiting here. Okay, I get a value error, can normalize vector of length. Okay, did I go with dot length function? Did I use my length function here? Self.position increases by velocity. Wait, what error did I get again? Let's see. Okay, I got a value error. Can normalize vector of length 0, line 78. Okay, self.velocity. Okay, since this is speed, my speed, most likely because I have this above, and I change my speed to be negative. Okay, speed asterisk equals to -1. Alright, let me actually go with the control C. I might ask this part to Sensei. Okay, let me paste it at a bunch of spaces. Let's say Sensei. I feel like I messed up. I feel like I messed up somewhere. ... I get a value error. Okay, I see exactly where you tripped over your own sword. Look at these two lines in your chase method. Self.velocity equals to direction.denormalize multiplied by speed. Did I mess something up here? Okay, self.position. Okay, self.position increases by velocity. And then look at your patrol method here. Self.position dot x-axis increases by self.speed. And self.position is less than or equal to if my self.position.x-axis is either less than or equal to my self.left boundary, or my self.position.x-axis is greater than or equal to my self.right boundary, I go with self.speed asterisk equal to -1. The problem, you're mixing self.speed and self.velocity incorrectly. Here's why you get a value error. Self.position is a vector2. Okay, good. Self.speed is a scalar number. Okay, like 3. In chase, you correctly do self.velocity equals to direction.normalized multiplied by speed, which is my acceleration. This is a vector2. In petrol, you do self.position.x-axis, which increases my self.speed, and then self.speed asterisk equal to -1. It converts positive speed to negative speed or negative speed to positive speed. That said, when you flip self.speed multiplied or asterisk equal to -1, it affects both petrol and chase because self.velocity uses self.speed. Oh, I see. Multiplying a number by -1 when self.velocity expects a vector2 can lead to value error. Operands could not be broadcast together when adding vector plus scalar. Fix it. Keep petrol speed separate from chase speed, or better, always use vector2 for velocity even in petrol. Okay, keep petrol speed separate from chase speed, or better, use vector2 for velocity. Okay, I think I see. So velocity asterisk, so velocity is x-axis, so that's my position basically. Okay, then in chase, self.position increases by my velocity. This way, petrol uses velocity as x-axis, chases uses velocity. Okay, no type mixing. All right, let me get Sensei there. Okay, let's see. I do have a bunch of questions, but I will ask that after I fix this real quick. So I got it first. I usually confirm if what Sensei/ChatGPT said is correct. Okay, so when I go here, instead of my speed, I'll go with velocity. Okay, velocity is going to be asterisk equals to -1. And then inside of my petrol, did I increase it by my velocity here as well? So first, for petroling, self.velocity right up here equals to vector2, the start set right, and then self.position increases by self.velocity instead of speed. So I'll go with self.velocity instead of my self.speed. Okay, and then I add my bounce off. Okay, I see. And then in chase, direction equals vector2 target self.position. So I created direction. I did that. I checked for zero division error. I added velocity. I set that equal to this. Okay. Self.position increases by self.velocity. Okay, apparently this should be type error, line 67. Okay, unsupported operand type plus equals float and pygame.math.vector2. Okay, is this like... I think did I understand the concept wrong? Let me go with the control C. Get Sensei back here. Okay, I feel like I'm missing a key point here, guys. This doesn't seem right. Let me say, Sensei, I feel like I'm missing something important. I got a error now as well. ... Hey guys, I don't want to use the restroom honestly, but I guess I'll use it after I'm done with this. Vivek, I see exactly where you blew it this time. Okay, look at your petrol method. Define petrol, self.position, increase by velocity. Stop right there. Self.position is a vector. It is a vector. Should I go with self. Oh, I see. Okay, self.velocity is also a vector too. You cannot do self.position or x-axis increases by self.velocity. You're trying to add a vector to a float. That's why you're getting the that value error. You need to add vectors to vectors, not vectors to scalars. Fix it like this. Okay, vectors to vectors. So my self.position is my vector and my self.velocity is my vector as well. Okay, you need to avoid vectors. Fix it like this. Self.position. Oh, I think I added... Okay, x-axis and y-axis. I see. I think because I specified my x-axis here, which just gave me a 500, which is my x-axis of my sword. I didn't add a y-axis. That's why I was missing a value. Okay, let me get Sensei back there. So, my entire vector2 by my entire vector2. Okay, now if I run the command. Oh, we're the same speed, honestly. That's why it's like following me. Okay. What happens if I increase my hero speed by something like 7 pixels per frame? That's going to be way faster. So will it reset once reset its petrol? I think I gotta be faster. Let's change that to like 12 pixels per frame. Okay. Now from the command. Yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure that is way fast. So. Okay. Although at least the chasing worked. Okay, so that does make sense. We can only add vectors with vectors. So let me go to control A, control C. Get say back here. Okay, paste it, add a bunch of spaces and say I see dot dot dot. Although I feel like I do need much more practice with this. Much more practice to get a gist of it. That said, I do want to work on my patrol now. Dot dot dot. My sword doesn't patrol question mark. Okay, and guys, honestly, I might use the restroom real quick. So, like, give me around 2 to 3 minutes. I'll use the restroom and be right back. Alright, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my gameplay screen. Alright, so where was I? Where did I stop? Okay, I was gonna work with my patrolling now. So for my patrolling, let's read. Oh, Vivek, finally, I see exactly why your sword refuses to patrol. Okay, look closely. Sword.patrol, sword.chase hero. You're running both patrol and chase every frame. That's why your sword moves straight to the hero instead of patrolling. The case logic immediately overrides the patrol position. You need to state logic, something like this. So if my hero's distance sword is less than 200, sword sees hero within 200 pixels, sword.chase, else sword.patrol. This way, sword patrols when the hero is far, sword chases when the hero gets close. Also, small fix in patrol. So defined patrols are self-position, increase about self-velocity. Only flips horizontal velocity. Okay, horizontal is sleeping line, right? Self.rect.center equals to position. Notice how velocity.x-axis asterisk equals to -1 don't fully apply to the whole vector, or it will flip y-axis as well. If you want, I can rewrite it down. Okay, I'm not working with y-axis, so I think I could just go with this. So let's see. Okay, so let's add a if statement right under my object details. Okay, I could go with something like if my self dot rect, actually not self dot, if my sword dot position dot x-axis is greater than 200, I'll go with sword dot patrol. If my sword's position, okay, if my sword, I want to see if my sword's position is close to my hero's position. Was it this? I actually forgot. Okay, so it says if my, oh, I gotta, wait, is the distance to a function? Hold up, guys. If my hero underscore position, wait, was that a function? If my hero underscore position dot the distance to, I gotta also say what this function means. I never heard of this. Sword dot position. Okay, if that's greater than 200, apparently sword sees the hero within 200 pixels. So let me go ahead and write a comment that says sword sees the hero within 200 pixels. There we go. Okay, let me go with an else. Else, I'll go with sword dot chase. Ta-da, right there. Okay, now I've got to run the command. Okay. There we go, the sword moves if I get close to the sword. It starts to chase. Okay, although it does vibrate a lot. Okay, I gotta like go do this in every direction because I feel like, let me go all the way down here. Okay. There is bounce. Is my sword patrolling? Let's see. Does my sword come up? It does. Okay, I do see something's like actually broken here. Let's go with a control C. Get Sensei back here. Let me paste this, add a bunch of space and say, Sensei, I feel like there is something broken here, question mark. It doesn't work like how I want it to work. I want it to return back to its original location and patrol if I'm away from the sword. ... Oh my gosh, guys, there are so many typos. Okay, so I wanted to return to its original location. Let me change that to and this to the, change that to want. This is going to be want. Okay, and something, this is going to be and. Alright, so I wanted to, okay. And also, I've never heard of the distance underscore to function. What does it do? Question mark. Hey, let's see. Oh, finally, I see what's going on, Vivek. You're running into two separate issues here. Distance underscore 2 vector 2 dot distance underscore 2 other vector. Okay, is a built-in Pygame Vector2 method. Okay, so this is a Vector2 method that returns, so we can only use this with a Vector2. And since my hero's position is a Vector2, oh, okay, that's why I could use it. That returns the straight line distance between two vectors. Example, position 1, that's the vector for position 1. Vector position 2's vector, print position 1 dot distance to position 2. Oh, okay, I see. So your line, if hero's position dot distance to position 2 is greater than 0, checks if hero is farther than 200 pixels from the sword. That part is correct. Petrol logic with return origin. Hey bro, I'm learning Python and I really do wish to reach this level. How many hours should I put daily? Honestly, I think this is actually like different people have like different busy schedules. That said, when I started, I did like spend about 10 hours a day learning Python, but because I did have to like rush for my 100-day series, you could spend like around maybe 4 to 5 hours a day. And the most important thing while spending that time is to actually physically try doing questions. So like that's the reason I like use Sensei slash ChatGPT. Before I used to like solve 50 broken questions, and once I was done with that, I used to move to the new topic, even though I knew those old questions. Although if you do want like a roadmap on like what to start doing first and eventually what should you do second, for example, print statements, variables, typecasting, user input, loops, nested loops, for loops, while loops, you can like join my Discord server, then like mention me that I can DM it to you. That said, I think my best advice would be to just practice. That's what I've been doing. Okay, and I feel I'm still a beginner, guys. Like, I gotta like whatchamacallit, practice one topic again and again in order to like get a gist of it. Okay, so two things. You need two things. Remember the original patrol starting position. When the hero is out of range, move the sword back to the pad gradually instead of instantly. Something like this. Class sword. We have a image parameter and a position parameter. Our self.image equals to our image parameter, which is our sword's image. Self.rect equals to our self.image.the get underscore rect function. Our position is going to be the center, which is equal to our position variable. That is set to our sword's position, which is a vector. And then we create a self.mask for like pixel perfect collision. We go with polygame.mask.from underscore surface. Our surface is our self.image. Then we add a self.position. We set that equal to vector2 with position inside. Okay. And then a self.original position. This is original position. Okay. Vector2 position. Okay, I think I see what this means. So the self.origin position is where the sword is going to be spawning. So that's going to be its origin, and then origin is basically its current location or where it's currently. I think our current location is the perfect word. And then self.position, that is equal to origin position as well, because when our player spawns, he's going to be set to his origin position and his current position. We added a self.speed, we set that equal to 3, and then we added a left boundary 200 and a right boundary 800. And then we added a velocity which is equal to our self.speed, which is 3 pixels per frame. It moves towards the right, which is 0. Starts moving right. And then we define a patrol method, move along patrol path, self.position increases by our self.velocity, and then bounce off boundaries. We add the bounce logic, we flip only horizontally. Self.rect.center, we reassign our sword's rectangle center to be equal to our self.position. Okay, and then we define return to patrol, move sword back to origin path if hero is far away. So we create a direction variable, we set that equal to our self.origin position minus our self.current position. Okay, why do we do that? Might I have to also say that? Let's see. Okay, we check for zero division error. If our direction's length is greater than 0, we increase our self.position by direction.normalize. Okay, so we increase our velocity by our acceleration at a constant speed. Is that how we read this part, guys? And then self.rect.center, we reassign our sword's rectangle center back to self.position. And then in your game loop, if hero's position.toDistance function or sword's position, okay, is less than 200, sword.chase hero's position, okay, else if sword.position.toDistance sword.origin point greater than 1. Okay, sword returns to patrol. Okay, I think I'm trying to understand what this means. Okay, this way sword patrols normally, sword chases hero if close, sword returns to its original path if hero moves away. Okay, let me get sensei there. Alright, so I actually might look at the reference code while writing this the first time, so I actually know how it works. Okay, that said, I needed an image, I needed rect, I needed mask, I needed position, I needed a origin position as well. So let me go with a self.origin. Is this how you spell origin? How do you spell origin, guys? ORIGIN. Okay, guys, I know I should like work on vocabulary. Okay, self.origin equals to our. Okay, instead this is going to be our position as well. So I'll go with self.position. Okay, which is basically equal to our position variable here. All right, and then let's see. Okay, I have origin. Although Sensei here did go with vector's position, okay, could go with vector2 instead of our position parameter here. So I could go with self.position vector2. This is going to be my position. Okay, that's a question. I gotta ask this part. So let me go here as well. I'll go with vector2. This is going to be my position as well. Let me ask you a question. Why did we use vector2 instead of the position parameter, question mark? Okay, there we go. Alright, the same question goes for this. Let me copy that, get it right here, paste it, maybe scroll a little back. This time, instead of my position parameter, I'll go with my self.position instance variable. There we go. And just zoom in so you guys can like see this part. Okay, next up, I needed a speed, I needed left boundary, right boundary, and self.velocity. I added my speed, added my right boundary, added my left boundary, and added my velocity. And then we defined petrol. I did define petrol, self.position increases by self.velocity. For bounce, I went with the bounce formula. If my self.position.x-axis, if my sword's x-axis is less than or equal to self.boundary, is less than or equal to 200, or my sword's position, my sword's x-axis, is greater than or equal to 800, which is my right boundary, I go with self.velocity asterisk equals to -1. Okay, and then I reset or reassign my self.rect.center, my sword center, to be equal to my self.position. Okay, that was basically it for the petrol, and then I needed a return to petrol. So for my return to petrol, I move sort back to origin path. Okay, so this is where I actually had a question. Let's see. So maybe under my chase method, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so under my chase method, I'm going to be defining a return return underscore 2. What's it called? Return to petrol. Okay, my return to petrol method won't have any parameters, although, so this, I gotta go with my direction variable that I've created up here. Okay, so let me go with direction. I'll go with my direction variable. Okay, I can't use my direction because it's inside of my this thing, so I gotta create a new direction variable. So direction is going to be equal to, let's see, self.origin position, which is set to my vector2's current position. So I'll go with self. Original position or origin position. Okay. Origin underscore position. Is that, did I like name my this thing wrong? Okay, it's the same thing. Self.origin. Okay, minus my, see, what do I need to subtract it from? I need to subtract it from my current position. Self.position. So basically, what happens here is, oh, I think I see what happens here. So my self.origin is my position where my sword first spawns. And if I want to return to petrol, I subtract that location from where my sword spawns and where he currently is. So my current position minus my origin position. So he gets closer and closer to like the place where he spawns, which is basically my current vector. My current vector's position is set to 300 by 500. Okay, I see that. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay, and then I look for zero division errors. So let me go down here and type a if statement. So if my direction's length, if my direction dot length, okay, is greater than 0, maybe go with a comment that says avoids zero division error. Okay, so if my direction's length is greater than 0, I go with my self.position. I increase my self.position with my direction dot normalize function. Okay, I think what this means is, since I was saying, wait, let me just type it out first. So self.position, my hero's or my sword's current position, I increase that by my distance variable, by my direction variable. Okay, direction dot the normalize function, and I multiply it by my speed. Okay, I think this makes sense because it wouldn't affect my it wouldn't affect any of my attributes. Is this called attributes inside of my other methods? Let me go with self. Let me prefix it with self because it's an instance variable. Okay, so if my direction, if a zero division error did not happen, I do this. Okay, I see. Okay, and then I'm pretty sure I got to reassign my rect. So let me go ahead, maybe outside my loop, or is it inside? Okay, I could go outside my if statement, and I'll go with self.rect.center. Okay, I set that equal to my self.position. Okay, and then in your game loop, if hero.distance underscore 2, so in my game loop right here, there we go. Let me zoom out a bit. If my hero.position, if my hero underscore position dot distance to source position is greater than 0, okay, so if it's greater than 0, if it's more than 0, okay, sort sees hero within 200 pixels, sort.chase hero, so I'll go with sort.chase. Okay, and my target is going to be my hero underscore position, my hero's position. I'm actually starting to see how vector makes sense now. Okay, and then I go with an else if. Else if my sort's position's distance to... Okay, I didn't understand this part. Let me just type it out first. Then I'll add a comment that says I didn't understand. Else if my sort dot position, my sort's current position dot the distance to function. Okay, my sort's origin position, so my sort dot origin, okay, is greater than 1. I do something. I return my sort, so sort dot return petrol. So I'll go with my sort object dot the return petrol method. Else my sort petrols. So else sort dot petrol. Okay, so don't I have a regular petrol? Don't I have like a regular chase? I do have a regular petrol method. Oh, there we go. I spelled it wrong that time. Okay, so I'll go with sort.patrol. Alright, perfect. If I were to run the command, okay, so my sort does move with me, but if I go too far, he gets back to his origin position and like jitters. Okay, I see how the logic works. I see how it works though. There are two issues here. The jittering is an issue that could be because it's updating every frame per second or like moving in two separate frames. Okay, let me ask you. Let me add a comment here and say, didn't understand this part. Okay, let me go with Control A, Control C. Get Sensei back here. Okay, now let me paste this. Add a bunch of spaces and say Sensei. I feel like I'm getting a gist on how Vector2 works, ... Although I did have a few more questions. Some are written as comments. ... That said, my sword jitters. Is it called jitters, or my sword vibrates at one location as well. ... Guys, I do like gotta go soon, but not right now. Maybe an hour more because I do got my college stuff to do. I hope I'm ready for my exam, which is like, I don't know, it's like Monday or something. Oh, Vivek, I can feel the frustration from here, but you're getting it. Let's break it down carefully, comment by comment, and fix this vibration issue. Why Vector2 position instead of just position? Position is originally just a tuple xy. Vector2 position converts it into Vector2 object, which supports Vector2 math like addition, subtraction, normalization, and distance 2. If you just use self.position equals to position tuple, okay, all your math like self.position increases by self.velocity would fail. You need Vector2 whenever you want to do vector operations. Position is originally a tuple. Okay. Why Vector2 position instead of position? Oh, I see. Okay. So this is the question that I asked. Okay. Position is originally a tuple. Vector2 position converts it into Vector2 object, which supports vector math like addition, subtraction, normalization, and distance. Oh, I see. Okay. Although with this, I have another question now. I'll ask that in a bit. y self.origin equals to vector2 position. I'm actually just paste it here, add a bunch of space and say, sensei, a question for this part, dot dot dot, my position parameter is, let me fix my typo. My position parameter is set to sort underscore position, which is equal to vector2. Okay, dot. Alright, let's read the second one. Y self.origin equals to vector instead of self.origin equals to self.position. If you did self.origin equals to self.position, then both self.position and self.origin point to the same vector object. When the sort moves, self.position changes would also change self.origin. That's why the sort forgets its petrol origin. Using vector position creates a copy, so self.origin stays at the original petrol location. Okay, so if you did self.origin, then both self.position and origin point to the same vector object. When the sort moves, self.position changes. Oh, I see. Okay. It would also change self.origin. That's why the sort forgets the petrol origin. Oh, I see. So we need separate positions for it. Using vector position creates a copy, so self.origin stays. Okay, why sort.position.distance 2 is greater than 1? This checks if the sort is not at its petrol origin yet. Okay. If it's further far than 1 pixel, call return to petrol. Otherwise, the sort is basically at its petrol path, so normal petrol resumes. The greater than 1 is just to avoid floating point wobble when the sort is almost at the origin. Why the sort vibrates? The vibration happens because in your game loop, you're adding both velocity petrol and also moving it towards origin in the same frame sometimes. Specifically, when the petrol is very close to origin, return to petrol moves it slightly, then petrol moves it back, causing it to jump back and forth every frame. How to fix the vibration? Only call one movement function per frame, use priority order. If hero is close, chase, else if sort is far from origin, return to petrol, else petrol. Also in return to petrol, stop moving once close enough. Example, define return to petrol, direction equals self.origin, okay, is greater than 1, stops when really close. Okay, so this still avoids zero division error. Else if self.position equals to vector2 position, snap exactly to order. If you fix this, petrol smoothly chases hero, stops vibrating. Okay, let me send this. This is one question. I think I got it. Ah, yes, now you're thinking critically. I like that. Here's the subtle. Okay, your sort underscore position equals to vector2 300 500. It's already a vector2 object. When you do self.position equals to or position parameter inside your class, it doesn't make a copy. It just points self.position to the same vector2 object as sort position. This is dangerous because if your sort moves and you do self.position increases by self.velocity, sort position itself changes outside the class too. Any other sort or code using sort underscore position now gets modified unexpectedly. So even though sort underscore position is already a vector2, you still wrap it in vector2 position like this. I see. This ensures self.position can move independently, self.origin stays fixed or returning to petrol. Think of it like this. You don't want your sort moving to break the memory of its original position. If you want, I can diagram this visually. Okay, let me get some say there. Alright, that was a lot, but I think I got it. So let me fix my zero division error for my wobbling. Let me change that to 1. Okay, I mean that was for my vibrating. And I did understand this concept, I did understand that concept, why we use vector.position. This gets me a specific copy because my position and origin needs to be separate. So instead of creating separate instance variables or like separate variables, I create copies. if I run the command, okay, it still kind of does vibrate. Up. Okay. Okay, let's see the vibrating part again. Okay, stops vibrating, so that should be part 4. Snap exactly to origin, sub.rect, so there is an else. So return to position. Okay, return to petrol, so my direction is equal to my self.origin minus self.position. If my direction.length is greater than 1, stops when really close or avoids zero division errors. Self.position increases by direction.normalize, so my position increases by my acceleration at a constant speed. Hello, how are you doing? Hey Tab, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let me add a else now. So can go with a else clause. Else my self.position is going to be equal to my vector2 self.origin. Snap exactly to. Oh, okay, this does make sense. Hold up. So as long as my sword is not chasing my player, I want its position to be exactly equal to its current location. So self.position is going to be equal to vector2. This is going to be my self's origin. So self.origin. Okay, and then I update my rect. I reassign my sword's rect to be equal to my sword's position. That said, if I run the command, it still vibrates. Okay, let's get the sword a little far. Okay, there are 2 questions that I have now. Let me go with Control C, copy that, get say back here. Okay, let me paste it at a bunch of space and say I have 2 more questions. ... These swords still vibrates when it returns to its origin or collides with my player. Finally, now we're hitting the good stuff. That vibration issue is classical. Vector2 overshooting plus frame speed problem. Let me break it down carefully. Why your sword vibrates? The problem comes from return to petrol and chase logic. Look at this part. Direction equals to self.origin minus self.position. If my direction variable's length is greater than 1, that avoids zero division error and stops when really close, self.position increases by my acceleration, okay, at a constant speed. Else self.position equals to vector2 self.origin. Because I'm interested to programming. Honestly, that does sound pretty good. Like, I'm going to be moving to C++ soon as well. My main goal was to eventually make tutorials and all that, but I got to know my basics for that. I guess we're programming together. That said, suppose self.position is very close to self.origin. Okay, very close to origin. Direction.normalize multiplied by self.speed is always self.speed unit, but the remaining distance might be less than self.speed. So it jumps past the origin in 1 frame. The next frame, it recalculates the direction, negative now, jumps back, causing the sword to vibrate around the target. Same goes for chasing the hero. If the hero is very close, the sword overshoots, causing jitter. How to fix? Instead of always adding velocity cap, instead of always adding velocity, cap the movement to the remaining distance. Okay, so this is where we use min. Okay, I look for zero division error. So, okay, and then I create a move variable. I set that equal to direction or normalize multiplied by max. Max is going to be, min. Min is going to be my current speed. My speed can go above my current speed, and distance. Okay, I need to ask why is the distance there? Never overshoot, and then my self.position increases by my move. Self.rect.center equals to position, and similarly for chase, direction equals to vector2 distance. Okay, we look for zero division error. We add a move min. Okay, never overshoot. Self.position increases by move. Why this works? Min self.speed distance ensures the sword never moves more than remaining distance, so it lands exactly on the distance without bouncing back. No more vibrations. Bonus tip: if your sword is constantly colliding with the player while returning to patrol, it might jitter because the distance to hero condition triggers chase immediately. You could also add a cooldown or a detection radius buffer to prevent immediate switching. I see. Okay, let me get Sensei there. Can you speak slowly? Honestly, yeah, I can go slowly because I did have people saying me that I speak way too quickly. I will try to slow down a little. Okay, although before I slow down, let me drink some water. Okay, so the places where I messed up, let's see. The first place that I messed up was, excuse me guys, in my patrol, or actually under my chase and in my return to patrol. So when I chase my player, okay, I look for zero division error. If a zero division error did happen, let's see, I create a move method or like a move variable. Let me go ahead and create a move variable. I set that equal to direction dot normalized multiplied by speed multiplied by self dot speed. Okay, this is going to be inside of my min, so let me add a pair of parentheses here. Go with min. My speed can't go above this, above my current speed, and then this is going to be my distance variable. There we go. Direction variable actually. Okay, I have a direction and then a distance. So my distance could be my direction dot length. Okay, that's the reason we could like add this to a distance variable. So first I have a direction variable. This is for my return to patrol. Okay, so I have that. Okay, similarly for my chase, my direction variable is going to be equal to vector2 minus sub dot position. Distance, I look for zero division error. Is greater than 0. My min is going to be self dot speed. Directions length, that's what it should have been, right? So okay, that's my direction, and then my distance. Oh, I think I see. Okay, let me go ahead and create a distance variable. I'll set my distance equal to my directions length. Okay, so I've been using my directions length, but my distance is now equal to my directions length, and instead of adding this, I could go with distance. Okay, and if I had distance here, this would be my directions length, so it would be the same exact thing. Okay, so I multiplied by my min, my direction dot normalize, self dot position increases by move. Okay, let me see why is it showing the yellow underline. Okay, expected type integer, math generic type, sports rich, comparison, support, dundle t, da da da. Okay, what does this normalize? Alright, let's see. I reassign my location. This is distance, so my distance is my directions length. That avoids zero division error. Okay, the same thing could go with my patrol. So for my patrol, I needed a direction. I created a direction, okay. And then the same with distance. I could use this for distance, honestly. It's the same thing. Okay, so instead of going with my position, instead of increasing my position, I'll create a move variable. I'll set that equal to direction dot normalize. Okay, so direction dot normalize, I multiply that. Instead of going with my speed, I'll go with min. Okay, I do wanna, this does seem wrong. I do wanna say why is it wrong. Okay, and my distance. Oh, I saw your previous stream, and if you remember, I recommended you to use vectors. Now I can see vectors in your code. Honestly, I appreciate that. I usually, my memory is kind of bad, so like, I usually forget who like says me stuff. But today, like back in the stream, I did say that someone yesterday did recommend me to use vectors this way, and that was actually pretty useful. So that's actually pretty good. Honestly, I see how vectors are real useful here. So direction dot length. Alright, so let me just copy this part. Okay, and then get Sensei here. Okay, I have a question for this part. Paste it at a bunch of spaces. Let's say I didn't understand the min logic here. ... question mark. Okay, let's see. Oh, finally. Finally, listen up. This is crucial. The min logic is what stops your sword from vibrating when it gets close to its target. Let me break it down step by step. What's happening without min? Self dot position increases by self dot normalize. Okay, multiplied by my speed. So I increase my position by my acceleration at a constant speed. Direction.normalize makes a unit vector in the direction of the target. Multiplying by self.speed moves the sword exactly self.speed units towards the target problem. If the distance to the target is less than self.speed, the sword will overshoot and then snap back next frame vibrating. Okay. What min self.speed distance does? Move direction and normalize. Distance equals to how far the sword actually is from the target. Min.speed distance equals to choose the smaller number, either full speed or just enough to reach the target exactly. This ensures that the sword will never overshoot the target result. It lands exactly on the target and stops jittering. Visual analogy, think of it like walking around towards a wall. If you step 3 feet at a time, self.memory equals to 3, but you're only 1 foot away distance, so 3 by 1. Okay, 1, you step exactly 1 foot each. Okay, reach the wall and stop. Without min, you'd step 3 feet, hitting the wall, bouncing back, keep wobbling. Pro tip, always use min trick whenever you're moving an object towards a point. Is the simplest way to stop overshooting jitter in any game. Okay, I think I see. I do have a question here. So if I copy this part, let me go ahead and copy that part, paste it here, add a bunch of space and say, Sensei, do we read this as increase self dot position with by acceleration? Okay, acceleration at a constant speed. Could you show what are you working on? Okay, give me a second. I'm honestly working on when my player is close to my sword or my object, it's my object starts chasing my player. If I go too far from my object, it moves back to its origin position, if that made any sense. Okay, at a constant speed. Okay, dot dot dot. And for the min parts in my code, I see a yellow underline. Is it just my editor? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, listen. Reading self dot position increases by normalized. Okay, a unit vector pointing. Okay, self scale c vector. Alright, so no, it's not acceleration, it's constant velocity in this direction. Acceleration would involve changing the speed over time. Okay, in plain English, move my sword towards the target self dot speed units every frame. Alright, what about the yellow underline? That's just editor warning, not Python itself. Sometimes editors don't realize min works fine with floats, or they misinterpret the type. Python itself doesn't care, your code will run perfectly. Okay, let me get Sensei there. Okay, so even if I have a red underline here, this should work perfectly. Okay, guys, this is just my eyes. I still see this vibrating. I don't think it is though. Okay, yeah, I don't think it vibrates. Although I did get a value error. Line 80. Right there, okay. What does this normalize? Okay, so what does this normalize? So I create a distance, I go with distance. What does the normalize? Okay, I want to normalize my speed. Okay. This is chase. Let me run the command again. Alright, so instead of adding a distance here, I could go with if my directions length. So let me go with if my directions dot length. I mean, it is honestly the same as my distance. It's just that my distance added that in a variable. Okay, let me change that to direction dot length. Okay, honestly, even if I run the command, I don't think that's going to make a big of a difference. Okay, can normalize vector of length. Line 79. So let me zoom in a little. Let's think. Why can I normalize the direction of my vector? Move equal to direction dot normalize multiplied by speed length. Normalize. Normalize is basically moving at a constant speed. Okay, what if I go with greater than 1? Now I found the command. Okay. Let me run it again. Okay, I think the greater than 1 did make sense. Although, why does my sword disappear now? Hmm. Try using Pygame docs. It may come in handy. Honestly, I'll definitely try that after the stream, or like after the stream, I gotta study probably next stream. Wow, 250. Wow, 250 days now. Aha, did the 100 days feel fast? And do you think it shows that if you stick to something, you can get great results? Honestly, that was my main goal when I started the series. I wonder, like, I was just curious because I actually was like a Discord addict. I used to like be in Discord for like 10 hours a day. I actually thought, what would happen if I like spend my time instead learning programming, and like how long would it take, or like if I stick to one thing every single day, how much would I be able to improve? I did say this in my, or like have it in my description for my 100-day series. That said, the reason I had a 250-day series right now is because before I was just learning Python. Now I'm learning anything in general. Before, my series was Python for 100 days. The reason this series is called programming for 100 days is because I'm going to be learning anything and everything that I have to in order to make like an actual game that includes artificial intelligence slash AI in it. So I would have to spend a good chunk of time, like 100 days, learning C++ because I'm pretty sure that is like the best tool that I could use for like making a game, and then maybe start working with Unity. That's going to take another 50 days and like 50 more days for something else maybe. And lastly, it's going to take a while to like actually build the game as well. That said, let me go ahead and go with a Control C. Hello, how are you doing, Orb? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that said, let me copy this, get Sensei here, and guys, I honestly do gotta go. This would have been so much easier without me having college, because like, there's so much to study. That said, let me say Sensei. I feel like I understand now how this works. Dot dot dot. I just need more practice. That said, the sword does disappear. Okay, the sword does disappear when we collide. What did he use to learn, and how long a day on average, bro? Before my college started, my average was around like 10 hours a day. It's like, I think it's at least 10, because like it's like I woke up from sleep, I started programming, and then I went back to sleep. I did that for like, I don't know, around maybe 70 or 80 days. Once my college started, I did limit that time to only when I stream, because off stream, I like study for my college the whole day because they apparently expect us to study everything on our own. That said, I did like follow a roadmap. I said Sensei slash ChatGPT to give me that roadmap. If you guys want that roadmap, you guys can like join the Discord server and like mention me there and say me, can you like give me the roadmap or something, and I can like DM the roadmap to you guys. That said, learn Go Dot instead. Go Dot. Honestly, I've never heard of that. I can actually check what does that do after the stream. Okay, I see exactly what's happening, you little bug magnet. The sword disappears when you collide. Isn't a magic Pygame curse? It's because of how you handle your case return petrol logic combined with the collision math here. Why? Collision doesn't stop movements. Okay, your sword is being moved every frame by either chase, return, or patrol. If it overlaps the hero, nothing tells it stop here, so it does. So if it, so if the chase Mic testing. Let me check if it's working. Guys, I forgot to charge my mic yesterday. Okay, I appreciate you so much, or for like catching that out later when I watch the stream for like getting clips for my shorts and everything. I'd be like, that would be awful. I appreciate you so much, bro. Your audio just got called out. He is never going to notice it. It is back now. Don't worry. Okay, that was actually pretty awful because like I don't listen to my own audio, or you guys would like listen me like twice. Like let me actually show you guys. If I like unmute myself here, then you guys can like hear me twice. Okay. Let's see. Guys, I think everything just froze up. Is it my Wi-Fi? Did my OBS crash? Okay, I think it's good. My own audio, or you guys would like
there we
listen
go.
me like twice. Okay, that said, let's go with extra tip collision logic. Let me get Sensei here. Okay. And then under my patrol class, right here. Under my patrol method. Before my bounce off boundaries. So I do have a bounce off boundaries. Okay, actually I don't. So I clamp it. Okay, let me go here and add a if statement. So if my self.position.x-axis, if my have you tried using Pygame docs? Honestly, I did use Pygames. I've honestly never heard of Pygame docs. I should like look into it. It's like from pygame.math import vector pygame doc. You could disable audio from screen capture in OBS. Honestly, yeah, I usually do that, but then the reason I stopped doing it is because like in my previous games I didn't need audio, so like you could listen to it. Like this was the game that I made for my 100-day series. Yeah, so I like needed display audio for them. I could like disable it. That would like actually make things easier. Okay, so if my self.position.x-axis is greater than or equal to my self.left boundary, I'm gonna do something. I'll go with my self.position. Okay, I set that equal to my self.position.x-axis equals to my self.left boundary. Okay, so what this I think what this basically means is if my self.position is either less than or equal to my self.boundary, which is set to 200, my self.position's my self.position's x-axis, my sword's x-axis is going to be equal to that position. Okay, let me go with the same thing. Else if my self.position.y-axis is less than, honestly I might go with x-axis only, is greater than or equal to my self.right boundary, I'll go with self.position.x-axis is going to be equal to self.right boundary. There we go. Gonna look into it as an excuse I given. I'm never planning to look into it. Honestly, I don't know why that actually sounded relatable. I say that so much, but then after my stream, it's either I'm so tired or either I like reply to you guys' messages or work on my college stuff. I should actually ask Sensei that right now, because I don't know how. Like, I actually say I'm gonna be looking into it, but I honestly never look into it. Let me say Sensei, what are Pygame docs? Question mark. Let's see. Oh, you little coded rage, pay attention. Pygame docs are basically the holy scrolls of Pygame. They're official reference guides. Oh, okay, I think I know. I think what a Pygame... I think I know what it is. Is it like right here? I feel like I have it saved. Is this like a Pygame doc? Because I did use it at the very beginning for like learning about how musics work in Python, like for getting the different functions. Okay, I think I know what this... It does say docs, guys. I'm so stupid. Okay, there we go. Just look into it on stream. Okay, yeah, usually like look into it for like some of the stuff that I don't understand. Stream or for a reason, community feedback. Honestly, that is so true. Okay, so what did I need to look for though? Okay, actually, I'll like definitely keep this open like for my next streams for like actually seeing what functions to use when. That said, I think I do understand this concept now. Okay. If that happens, I go with my self.position or self.velocity. My x-axis velocity increase, actually asterisk equals to -1. The Pygame docs. These are the Google Pygame docs. Oh, I see. Okay, use Google, man. Honestly, many people do say me to use Chrome as well. I should move on to Chrome. I've been using Edge for like ever now. I think next year I'm going to be trying Chrome, but I have all my bookmarks set in Edge, so I think it wouldn't be that hard to like move on. Self.velocity.x-axis. Okay. Actually, before velocity, I think, yeah, I'll go with asterisk equals to -1. Okay, perfect. If I were to run the command, does chase my player when we collide, it still does disappear. Okay. Extra tip, collision, boom, self.activate equals to true. Okay, isn't this basically the same as what I did before? Okay, let me go with the control C. Get use Firefox, Chrome crash. Honestly, I should try different things, guys. I've been living under a rock just using Edge. You can just import your bookmarks with one click. Okay, guys, I should check onto it. Let me paste this. Add a bunch of space, and I should say the sword still disappears for some reason. Question mark. Okay, I see exactly what's making your sword vanish, you little vector explorer. Listen carefully because this is a classic trap when mixing marks, rex, and vector2 is the problem. Look at your chase method. Define chase self-target, so direction equals to vector2 target minus self.position. If direction.length is greater than 1, okay, self.position equals to vector2. This is the sword vanish point, so it goes to 0, 0, which is top left. Bam, when the sword really gets close to hero, distance is less than or equal to 1, you reset self position to 0, 0. That's why the sword suddenly teleports to the top left corner. It's not gone, it's just off screen. Okay. Vector's original position, that would make sense. So instead of hard coding a position right here, okay, I could go with self.origin position. Just switch browsers on stream for real. How many monitors do you have, by the way? Honestly, I do like use 4 monitors because like I have like stream in one, Sensei in one, chats in one, and like my whatchamacallit, I forgot what it's called, my multi-streams in the other. That said, I feel like it is kind of hot here because of all those monitors. Let me run the command. Oh, okay. Okay, now that makes sense. Let me just dot be collided. There we go. Okay, that does work. Honestly, I don't take credit for this code or question whatsoever because like I did ask Sensei for help and went for reference. But I honestly might have to end the stream soon because I do have to study for my college stuff. I have an exam close and there's a lot of homework. That said, let me get Sensei back here. Sensei, I think I get the basic idea. I just need more practice. We can do that tomorrow. That said, I am planning to end the stream. Is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. For damn rich guy. It's honestly not rich, guys. I needed like something for my college, like a laptop, and I have been like saving up for this. That said, oh, listen up, viewers. Today you witnessed Vivek transform into a vector-wielding hero. We done head first into Vector, chased and patrolled swords, and yes, there were some disappearing swords tragedies, but that's how legends are forged. Remember, programming isn't about never failing, it's about teleporting your mistakes back to origin and learning from them. So Vivek. Okay, so give it up for Vivek grinding through Pygames today, making those vectors dance, level up, Okay, that's it. And guys, honestly, I did like few people did ask me this question before. Actually, the table that I'm using right now is actually my bed. I like sleep right here. Like, this is what I used to do. Like, once I'm done working, if you guys can see, I actually sleep. I just roll this bed back here. Okay, that's it. Let me go to my main camera. Alright guys, basically that was it for this stream, and I do know my green screen probably looks a little weird. I need to like add filters and everything. I will see if I have time after stream, like before I sleep. So while I'm making thumbnails, I could set my OBS up. That said, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like it helps with my algorithm. Sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like it, cherry on top. And guys, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. So if you guys enjoy my content and haven't followed me on Twitch and Kick, and make sure to follow me on Twitch and Kick. And if you guys haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube. And well, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video.